Back on the Porter's Tailgate Show, we're joined by the head coach
Welcome to the Porter's Tailgate Show.
It's about that time.
Go Big Red! Go Big Red! Go Big Red! Go Big Red!
If you're willing to accept the responsibility that you have to protect this team and this school and this town, and make no mistake about it, gentlemen, we are in the business of protecting this town.
I shut them down! Shut them down!
Coming up, you'll hear from RHS head coach Mark Lenhart, our athlete spotlight, and your Wolverine weekend report.
Let's get rocking!
Wolverine football is just a half an hour away. Here are Wolverine analyst Scott Fuller and the voice of the Wolverines, Jared Anderson.
And a very good Friday evening to you. Welcome back to Wolverine Field. I'm Jared Anderson, joined as always alongside Scott Fuller, Jason Peterson, our camera operator. Glad to have you here on the County 10 Sports Network and 105.1 Jack FM. We're counting you down to kickoff here on the Porter's Tailgate Show as the Riverton Wolverines hosting senior night. You've got festivities on your screen right now if you're watching along with us on County 10's YouTube channel with 13 football seniors being recognized. They're also going to recognize the other fall sport athletes, the cheer athletes, and they'll have a special shout out to the Riverton High School marching band tonight and some other pregame festivities that we'll bring to you here on the stream. Riverton getting ready to take on the Worland Warriors, and a Worland team that's coming into this feeling pretty good about themselves. They're very young, but they're a very scrappy team, and both of these teams tonight have a lot to play for. Worland is going to have to go on the road in the first round of the playoffs no matter what, but they're trying to avoid that trip to Star Valley, which Scott Fuller, I think everybody in 3A football can relate to.
That's a beautiful drive that we made earlier in the year, but I wouldn't mind skipping that drive either, if only because waiting at the end of 4.5 hours is a very good football team. The entirety of 3A, it may well turn out, has to go through Afton. But first things first here tonight, the Riverton Wolverines have put themselves in, I think what everybody would agree was an improbable situation, or at least less than likely before the season started, the ability to play for the 1 seed. And you've talked at length, Jared, about if the Wolverines make the playoffs back in August, if they make the playoffs, that'd be a success. Well, they are looking at exceeding that goal and then some with a victory here tonight against Worland. Basically, and again, we'll run through all the scenarios as we go, basically, if the Wolverines win, they very likely have secured the 1 seed and home field advantage in the first round of the postseason and second round were they to win. And if they lose, they become the 4 seed. There are some caveats there, but they would involve some big upsets elsewhere in the state tonight. So I think going into the game, you you can't avoid it anymore. The kids are now aware of it too, and you just sort of embrace it and say you win, and in all likelihood you get to stay here and play a home playoff game, which is a prospect for Wolverine fans that I know has a lot of people in the community really excited, and I'm hoping here as fans still fill in, we'll see a pretty packed house here tonight.
I think that is a really good bet. I'd say with 26 minutes before a kickoff, this is about as full as we've seen it at this point before a kickoff. Frontier Academy is hosting a chili fundraiser tonight, so if you're looking for dinner, thinking about what am I going to do before I head up to the stadium, come on up and support Frontier Academy. They've, of course, got the concession stand open here as well. Would be fun to see another big atmosphere at Riverton High School with a lot on the line. As Scott mentioned, there are some crazy scenarios in 3A football. We will get into those kind of based on what tonight looks like. We'll keep you up to date with the other games going on across 3A football. But the big story is very likely if Riverton wins this game, they win the 3A East. They will get the number 1 seed out of the East and a potential of 2 playoff games here at Wolverine Field, which is just huge thinking back to the last few years in this program. Worland would like to win this game and get the number 3 seed. They'll have to go on the road no matter what. If they lose, they're automatically the number 4 seed. This is a storied Worland team that's a little bit down this year compared to what they're used to. They've got 14 state championships in the school history, won 3 in a row from 2001 to 2003. Patrick Sweeney, the head coach, in his 4th year. and over the last 4 years has seen some positive moments, but overall has a losing record at 15-19, though it seems like he's got them on a much better track this season. Riverton, of course, under Mark Lenhart in his first year at the helm, and Coach Lenhart is going to come up here on our Porter's Tailgate show. Was able to catch up with him down on the field a few moments ago, so we'll chat with Coach Lenhart here as we count you down to kickoff. Also on the pregame show, we'll get to know the Warriors a little bit better with the voice of Worland Sports, Jordan McCamey, one of my longtime broadcast buddies, and we'll tell you a little bit more about some of the names and things to expect from tonight's opponent. Again, you're watching senior night festivities here. We saw the 14 football seniors being introduced on the turf first, and now the cheerleaders are being introduced. We'll also get some of the other fall sport seniors. Riverton football seniors include Derek DeVries, Ty Sheets, Branson Saltzgaver, Nick McIntosh, Talon Tillman, Craven Garcia, Damian Duran, Zarek Prosser, Xavier Garcia, Tristan Moss, Ryan Watson, Lyric Gordon, and Nathan Mills. Also want to give a shout out to Tristan Anderson too. I don't know exactly Tristan's status. I had him on rosters earlier this season. I don't have him on the most recent one being recognized tonight, but he played the majority of the season, so throw him into the mix there as well for the Riverton seniors. And I think as you look at that list, Scott, you see there's not a ton of seniors on this Riverton team, so you get a lot of talent coming back next year. But those names, DeVries, Sheets, McIntosh, Saltzgaver, Tolman, Mills, on and on there, those are some valuable names that this Riverton community is going to miss.
They're going to be really difficult to replace next year. As you mentioned, Jared, they're not deep when it comes to numbers. They're not very experienced. But almost every one of those upperclassmen are instrumental to one side of the ball or the other or both, and it's a part of high school football. You have to replace graduating classes. What I like about where Riverton is right now, as Coach Lenhart has preached to us a couple of times in our conversations with him, it starts even lower down. It starts in the middle school levels and getting kids out to play football and buy into the system. And I think no matter what happens here tonight, we should keep in mind that I think you'd be crazy not to consider this a successful season for the Riverton Wolverines in Mark Lenhart's first year. Obviously, you want to win this final senior night game at home and move on to host a playoff game in all likelihood if they were to win tonight. But no matter what, expectations have been exceeded. And I think if you're the coaching staff and even the fans, we can take some of the pressure off of ourselves, enjoy the success the Wolverines have had already here in this season. And, if we get a cherry on top of the sundae and we get a victory in a home playoff game next week, all the better.
Big shout out to Porter's Mountain View Supply, making the Porter's Tailgate show possible. You can stop in and see them at Federal and Sunset in Riverton. Let's take a real short time out. We'll show you some more sights from senior night here in just a few moments, and we'll also chat with the voice of the Worland Warriors, Jordan McCamey, on the other side of this quick timeout. It's the Porter's Tailgate show as we count you down to kick off Riverton and Worland football coming at you in about 20 minutes. You are watching the Wolverines on County 10's YouTube channel and listening on 105.1 Jack FM.
Mountain View Supply, your local experts in fire and water. We got everything you need for new installs to accessories, and don't forget our great selection of stoves, grills, and spas. We've been serving Wyoming for over 40 years, so you know you can trust us for quality products and expert service. Visit portersmbs.com or stop by our Riverton or Casper locations today. Porter's Mountain View Supply, located on 750 East Sunset Drive in Riverton.
The Tyler Watson State Farm Agency is a proud supporter of Riverton High School Wolverine athletics. We understand the importance of community, and we're excited to be a part of it. As your neighbor, we're here to help you with all your insurance needs. We offer auto, homeowners, renters, business, and life insurance. So stop in and say hi, or give us a call today. The Tyler Watson State Farm Agency will be here for you.
Back on the Porter's Tailgate Show, we're getting to know the opponent tonight a little bit better as we introduce you to a little bit more about the Worland Warriors with the voice of the Warriors, Jordan McCamey. Jordan, first of all, it's a great day for football. How was your trip down?
Well, always an easy trip up from Worland. Pretty great. Beautiful fall night. Might be the last one we have, so great night to have a little fall football.
Yeah, looking at that forecast next week, it doesn't look nearly as nice, so hope everybody gets to enjoy the weather this weekend. Worland's having a fun season. Looks like, just on paper, you guys are very young. What's kind of been the story so far this season for the Warriors?
Story is young. Story is numbers. Again, Worland basketball, soccer, been a huge success. Doesn't always translate to the football field, but have some playmakers out there. The Warriors started off the season, Mason Decker Jr. at quarterback, a couple of games there. Had some success, had some struggle, decided to go to the younger sophomore, Colt Weber. Since then, the offense has kind of picked up. The defense has always been there for the Warriors, but it's been their ability to get it into the end zone that's really held this team back. But we've seen flashes of it, and perhaps at this penultimate part of the season they can get it done.
For folks that maybe haven't seen Worland, aren't as familiar watching from our Riverton audience, who are some of the names you mentioned? Mason Decker, Colt Weber right there, a couple of the big names to watch for. Anybody else we should be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, those are the two big ones that really built a connection on the offensive side, but some other names you're going to hear. Kale Cheatham, the tailback in the backfield, gets a lot of work, hasn't had maybe a lot of, like, you look at his yards per carry, you'd be like, oh, must be a tough season, but he has a big play potential. Roman Parr out there, just an all-around great athlete, whatever he does. That's another name that you could hear. A couple other ones on the defensive side. You think of a Gunnar Mascaro out there. A couple other defensive guys out there. That linebacking core has kept the Warriors in a lot of games with some big plays.
Feels like both of these teams have a lot to play for tonight, so I'd anticipate there shouldn't be any issue with either of them coming to play and being fired up. But you guys go on the road in the first round of the playoffs, it looks like. What's the sense you get from this team morale-wise headed into this one? Are they fired up and ready to go trying to earn that number 3 seed?
I'd say it's probably the most meaningful football game the Warriors have played in a number of years. It's been over a decade since they've had a winning season, and tonight, again, they won't have a chance at a winning season, but a chance to get in 500, get that 3 seed. And really, we talked a little bit about it. It's kind of a Star Valley avoidance. I mean, if that's not a big enough effort for you to get in there, try to be the one to get an upset. I mean, that Star Valley team is loaded up there. They have the most kids. Tonight to play for, again, get to 500, get that 3 seed, shorten up the road trip, kind of feel like that upset potential stays a little bit more fiery if you can get that 3 seed.
Football's obviously been really good and fun. Worland, you've been around it a long time. They're known for basketball and soccer. So we look ahead to the rest of the sports season. You anticipating more state championships and more fun?
Well, definitely some fun. You can never predict the state championships, but I just know that the programs that are built there, the heads of those, Aaron Abel on the boys' side for the boys' basketball that's picked up a few championships over the last decade or so. Ron Overcast, of course, I don't know anybody who knows soccer, don't really need an introduction there to Ron Overcast, and they're on a kind of a ridiculous unbeaten streak at this point. I think there's even some murmurs around town that they almost want that to end, as that's more of a distraction than it is an advantage at this point. But those athletes keep filtering into those programs, and I think that talks to it at the high school level. Program integrity and leadership really do make a difference. It's that talent can, ability can kind of take over talent sometimes, and that team level can take over talent sometimes in some big wins.
I know you'll be there for basketball, correct? And you can go back and watch all of the Worland games so far this year and be along with this Warrior team on the playoffs. How do we find your broadcast?
Yeah, thanks, Jared. Yeah, it's a new company I kicked off. It's McCamey Broadcasting LLC. Facebook, McCamey Broadcasting. On YouTube, just search for McCamey Broadcasting and find all the replays there. That's where we're doing audio, video streaming. Obviously, talks in the future like anybody trying to get some expansion in that. But right now, that's where you find it. YouTube. Easy point and click there. So head over to YouTube, search McCamey Broadcasting, and you'll get us there.
Awesome. Jordan, best of luck the rest of the way. Have a great broadcast tonight, and appreciate you taking a few moments.
Thanks, Jared. Same to you. Appreciate it.
He's Jordan McCamey, the longtime Worland Warriors supporter, the broadcaster there. They've gone through a few different broadcasters, and Jordan kicking up his own broadcast network there, bringing streaming video studio for Worland Games. My thanks to Jordan for joining us here on the Porter's Tailgate Show. Again, it's senior night at Wolverine Field. Some of the seniors of the other fall sports, not including football, are being recognized, which brings me to the Wolverine weekend. It's a big one for Riverton athletics. Of course, we're starting to see some of the fall sports enter the postseason. We'll see playoff football next week. Tomorrow, the state cross-country championships happen in Cheyenne. The 3A races for the boys are at 10:30, and then the girls race at noon. So best of luck to all of our Riverton cross-country runners, Ton Gopp, the head coach, and all of the athletes there. We wish them the best of luck from state tomorrow. Girls swimmers are in the postseason. They're at the conference meet in Cody. The prelims for girls swimming should be wrapping up right about now. In fact, as we speak from the pool in Cody, girls swimming finals are tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then, of course, we're a week away from the state girls swimming championships in Gillette. Riverton girls volleyball played earlier this week. They beat Lander in 3 sets on Tuesday, winning the Keeper of the Gold trophy. That was a series sweep for the Lady Wolverines. In fact, didn't lose a set. Won 3 sets to nothing in the first meeting at Riverton. Won 3-0 at Lander Valley High School on Tuesday. If you want to rewatch that, Wyatt Barijka brought you the volleyball game on County 10's YouTube channel. Lady Wolverine volleyball has the night off tonight, but they will host Cody tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And a big shout out to the Riverton High School Marching Band. They were at the State Marching Band Championships last week in Casper, earned the highest rating possible, the Superior Award. So hats off to the RHS Marching Band, Andy Peaks, the band director, and I am working diligently and told by Mr. Peaks today, in fact, that we'll have him on the County 10 podcast next week, and maybe a couple of his senior band members too. So getting to highlight all things marching band, and a busy time. It feels like we're into the postseason for just about everything as far as fall sports.
It goes by so quickly. I can't believe how quickly football season went by. Seems like 4 weeks, and it's probably been double that. This is our last regular season game, senior night here in Riverton, but obviously the Wolverines on the field tonight, hoping it is not their last game at home as a senior, if they can find a way to take care of Worland this evening.
Take a look here at some of the stat lines in this game before we bring you our conversation with the head coach, Mark Lenhart, here on the Porter's Tailgate Show. Team stats in this one. Worland is best known for their defense. Offense numbers, they average just 132 yards per game. 75 of that comes from the air. The passing attack, they average 57 rushing yards per game. The Warriors scored just 9.7 points per game. They increased that average, believe it or not, after scoring 21 last week. Before that, they went into their game against Lander averaging just 7 points per game, but bumped it up to 9.3. Defensively, Worland allows 247 yards per game. They are stout defensively, 127 rushing yards per game they allow, and 120 yards through the air. They also give up 25 points per game. On the flip side, Riverton has quite the offensive attack. They average 354 yards per game, 243 yards per game passing, 110 yards rushing, and Riverton scores 25 points per game. Defensively, Riverton this season has allowed 357 yards per game, 210 on the ground, 146 passing, and Riverton has given up 33 points per game. Those numbers might be a bit skewed when you take into account the first 3 opponents there with Powell, Star Valley, and Cody. It's been a lot more successful here as we've gotten into 3A East play, but some wacky numbers given those first few opponents. And Worland kind of ran into the same thing. In fact, common opponents, these two teams have played not quite identical schedules, but very similar. They've played 5 of the same teams. Similar results for them. Both of these teams lost to Powell, Cody, and Douglas. Both teams beat Lander. The only team they've differed on is Buffalo, the team Riverton saw last week. Riverton beat Buffalo 25-14. Worland lost to Buffalo on October 6th, 41-0. So a tale of 2 very different efforts against the Buffalo Bison. Let's take a break here on the Porter's Tailgate Tailgate Show. When we come back, the head coach of the Riverton Wolverines, Mark Lenhart, will join us. You're watching the Wolverines on County 10's YouTube channel, listening on 105.1 Jack FM.
To breeze with Sutherland's, your home improvement experts. Always the right products at the right price. For every project, every day. You can shop and pay online at Sutherlands.com, and we'll get it ready for easy in-store pickup. With the tools and the know-how, you can count on Sutherlands for any job. With over 30,000 items in stock, make your first stop at Sutherland's Home Improvement in Casper and Riverton.
Why do we enforce seatbelt laws? Because in real life, you don't get a second chance.
If you're looking for
Back on the Porter's Tailgate Show, we're joined by the head coach of the Riverton Wolverines, Mark Lenhart. Coach, first of all, congratulations last week. Huge win against Buffalo. I was trying to figure out the last time Riverton's beaten a ranked opponent. I know it's been a while, but now here you are ranked. Can you feel the culture changing over the last couple of months?
Well, yeah, I think so. But truthfully, I mean, it's something that people don't really realize. You could feel it changing in the summer, and you could feel it changing in fall camp, and really even in our non-conference. There were a lot of positives that were going on. You know, we played such a tough schedule that I really don't think we were as bad as our record maybe indicated. And so, you know, hopefully we can continue to improve. And that's all we ask our guys. Get better every week all the way until the end of the season. And, you know, hopefully they find a way to make that happen again tonight.
I was going to say, looking back at the season now here in Week 8, we groaned when it was happening, when we saw Star Valley and Cody and Powell back to back to back. But was that good in preparing this team for late season success?
If you get out healthy, which we did, you know, we've actually had more injuries in in conference play than we did during that stretch. But yeah, I think that our guys have, you know, been very, very resilient. And I think that just being competitive, and it's hard to move the ball in Star Valley. It's hard to move the ball against Cody, and we were able to do that, you know, and you know, Powell and all those guys. And so, you know, once we were able to do that, I feel like they thought, okay, we can play some offense. Then we got over here in the East, and it was a little easier to play defense, and maybe we've gotten some confidence that way.
This Worland team looks young but scrappy. What do you know about the Warriors?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to put it. Yeah, I think they're going to give us everything they got tonight. They've got nothing to lose. They're probably well aware of what's on the line for them if they lose a trip to Star Valley, so they'd much rather make us do that than them. And so hopefully we can come out and get after it and be physical and don't give them a lot of hope right away.
I'm hoping for a lot of more action here as we get into the playoffs, and a couple of games at Wolverine Field would be great. But it is senior night, seniors getting recognized. What has this bunch meant to you, the community of Riverton, both on and off the field?
They've been awesome. It's never easy to play for a new coach and a new system, and you know, especially when you haven't had a lot of success, they probably could have maybe thrown in the towel. And you know, I can be pretty demanding, and the kids and the staff have been amazing. I mean, these coaches and players have worked and done everything we've asked them to do and then some. And so, you know, hopefully we can continue to do that. And like I told them, I said, you know, getting the opportunity to play deep into playoff football, there's nothing like it, and I want you guys to experience that. And so hopefully we can find a way to get a win tonight, and Buffalo takes care of business, and we can host Evanston here next Friday night.
How's everybody feeling? Health, injuries, morale?
Tyree Harris-Aragon will still be out. You know, Ryan Watson will play. He's been a little bit dinged up. But for the most part, everybody will be ready to go tonight, and you know, we'll hopefully be able to send our seniors off in a good way.
Coach, appreciate it as always. Good luck.
Thanks so much.
Mark Lenhart, first-year coach for the Riverton Wolverines, joining us, and appreciate his time all year long. Of course, we'll get the opportunity to chat with him again in the playoffs here, but reflecting a little bit on his seniors here as the seniors were recognized. And no matter if you're fairly sure if you're going to get another game on this field or not, senior night is always an emotional one as you kind of look back at that long stretch. A lot of these kids started out in Riverton junior football and continued playing football for the entirety of their school careers.
Yeah, and it's amazing as you're going through high school how quickly that goes as a student athlete. Coach Landhart in his first year has only had a season to work with these seniors, obviously, but some of those guys are special. Guys like Nick McIntosh, who has made just unbelievable highlight plays at the receiver position and defensively throughout the season. And Derek DeVries, having seen him and having seen everything else, at least in the 3A East, is the best quarterback for my money in 3A on the east side. He has been very special to watch, and we've seen him progress even a little throughout his senior year. So it's emotional. It's emotional for the kids, for the coaching staff, and definitely for the parents and grandparents and friends and family who are in the stands for what is guaranteed to be the final home game. The Wolverines obviously trying to add at least one more to that schedule in the postseason with a win tonight.
We've got the coin flip happening. We'll try to pick that up for you, but we're real close to kickoff here. Thanks to Porter's Supply Company again for making our pregame festivities possible. Also, senior night here at Wolverine Field means we get the presentation of a couple of awards. The Brett Watson Award and the John Hirsch Award will be handed out at some point to a couple of deserving Wolverine seniors. Couple of folks that were instrumental in building football culture in Fremont County. I know both of them have very historic purposes to Riverton junior football. John Hirsch certainly does in getting it started. Brett Watson took it to another level. Brett was the person that made Riverton junior football what it is. There's very few times I get to watch Riverton football or think about a lot of things happening that are good in the community of Riverton without remembering Brett Watson. So we'll hopefully be able to show you the Brett Watson and the John Hirsch Award tonight as our coin flip happening on your screen. Welcome those of you watching on County 10's YouTube channel. And as always, love to interact with you, so drop us a comment. Feel free to comment on the game or just let us know where you're tuned in from, and we'll give you a shout out on the air here as the game progresses.
For the Wolverines to win and not host a playoff game would require a couple of upsets around the state. And that would involve the Rollins game and the Lander game. As you see the 3A East playoff scenarios on your screen if you're watching on Facebook or the County 10 YouTube. This again courtesy of WyomingFootball.com, which is a fantastic resource for such things. I think it was 10 o'clock on last Friday night, right after the big Riverton upset over Buffalo, and Wyoming Football had the scenarios all graphed out for us. And
the only person nerdier about this than our Wyatt Bridge guy, I think, is Patrick Schmidt at Wyoming-football.com, who's just fantastic.
So you see with the Douglas victory, if that were to happen tonight, and then we can show you a Lander victory scenario. But to dumb it down for people like Jared and myself, if the Wolverines win, it is very likely that they will host a playoff game with a 1 seed. If they lose, it is then pretty likely, if not assured at that point, that they will have the 4 seed and have to go on the road. So this is a big game for a lot of reasons, but definitely for these Riverton Wolverines. You want that home game in the first round of the playoffs, and it just increases your sort of bracketology there too. If you're rooting for somebody out there to upset a Cody or a Star Valley on the other side of 3A.
Ryan Dennis is the kicker for the Worland Warriors. Nick McIntosh and Ty Sheets are back deep to receive. Riverton again in their all-black uniforms, trimmed in cardinal red and white. Ryan Dennis, I was watching him on film. He's got a very interesting approach to the football. He stands about as far back away from the football as I've seen any kicker in high school football. Long approach, and we are underway in week 8 of Wyoming high school football. Long end over ender, kicked into the Riverton end zone. Automatically a touchback, was fielded by Ty Sheets. Riverton will start with the first possession, 1st and 10 from their own 20.
The Warriors won the coin toss, as you saw on the screen if you were watching on YouTube or Facebook, and they deferred to the second half. Any offense wants points of some kind on every single drive. Listening to the stat lines, Jared, in the Porter's Tailgate Show, this is a little reminiscent of a Lander game. There isn't the rivalry there, but an offense that puts up 10 points, you want to avoid giving up those big plays. But with that first possession here, let's see if we can find some points and hopefully the end zone.
Tight formation for the Wolverines. DeVries will start under center, turn and hand to Ty Sheets. Sheets made the first guy miss and will ultimately tally about 3 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
Wolverines relatively healthy for this late in the season. They've had a couple of big injuries affecting both sides of the ball, but as it goes 8 weeks into a season, you still have your big senior playmakers on offense, and DeVries, who's been battling a mid-foot injury since literally the first play of the season, and you still have your offensive weapons in McIntosh and Sheets on the outside, pretty healthy coming into this final regular season game.
Give you another injury bit of news here coming up, as Derek's going to get the Warriors to jump. Somebody in that defensive front came out of his stance first. Actually, a couple of guys, maybe Fisher Martinez, I think, might have been the first one, and Riverton will pick up 5 more.
The nose tackle right there drives any coach crazy because he is literally the closest defender to the ball. It is right there in front of him, and all you have to do is wait for the ball to be snapped. Nice job by Derek DeVries. That's one area I've seen him develop throughout the senior season, Jared, is getting the defensive front to jump offside more and more often as the season has gone on.
2nd down and 1 now for the Wolverines. Empty backfield, 3-by-2 this set, 3 receivers to the right side of Derek. Derek looks back to his head coach. Will clap his hands, fade to throw. Air it out to a receiver who's got a first down and a little bit more. Spun out of bounds is Blake Gattenbein. Gattenbein with the first reception of the ball game, and that's a gain of about 8 on 2nd and 1.
Did look like a zone coverage, not the man that we saw later in the Buffalo game last week, but one thing the Bison did do against Riverton to try to find an answer for the passing attack of the Wolverines is give a lot of cushion to guys like Gattenbein and Sheets and McIntosh on the outside, and you can see right now an outside receiver on the top of the screen, a lot of cushion.
Derek back under center will hand the ball to his running back. I think that's DeVries back there who didn't pick up a lot there. Second effort going to get Derek maybe a yard on the ground. Actually, Gattenbein, I apologize. Got my names mixed up there with the 2 quarterbacks we've seen. Blake Gattenbein on the first handoff.
Blake will stay in the game as DeVries comes back out again for 2nd down and a long 7.
Played 2 minutes here. Was also going to mention Tyree Harris-Aragon, unfortunately out again with that neck injury. So wishing for the best for Tyree. Also, Wolverines hoping to have Jordan May back at some point, maybe in the playoffs. Derek going to take it for the first time. Fake the handoff, and will get near the first down marker. I think he's going to be about a half a yard short, but a nice carry from Derek. Pick up 7 yards on the ground.
I think this is a pull from the right side. And you see right there the right tackle pulling around, right guard it might have been actually, to give one more blocker for DeVries on the left side. Nice job by the left side of the offensive line for the Wolverines there to get a lot of push. There's some conversation happening after the end of this play, though.
Going to be a long measurement with the football spotted on the far side of the field. Now they're going to send the chain crew back. I don't know if they want to measure or not. It looks like maybe they'll reassess it to the left hash mark.
I think they're going to say it's short. Yeah, I'm not sure what the measurement would have been. It's a full 2 yards short.
Now the chain crew is moving. So we'll get them reset, I guess. I do think they're going to be short, but
yeah, from here, it's not close. It's a full 2 yards short. Should be 3rd and 2.
I think the marker had to come back a little ways there. I think it is 2nd and about a yard,
yeah,
but it looked, or 3rd and about a yard now. Derek is just going to quarterback keeper this one, and I know that's a first down as Derek will pick up 5 yards. His 2nd carry of the game. Coach Lenhart told us in the Porter's Tailgate show he's loved the play from Derek so far this year. He was hoping he wouldn't have to carry it quite as much as he did against Buffalo. Took the majority of the load there and a lot of hits, but we've seen him take it on the run twice.
Yeah, if there's one weak link in the Wolverines offense, it's that backfield after injuries in the first part of the season, but you use your quarterback and backup quarterback and Blake Attenbine, who's played some running back, to kind of make it as good as it can be back there.
DeVries under center, strong side to the right. They'll give it to Gattenbein in the backfield, who tries to use those blockers on the right side, and Gattenbein going to be driven backwards after he picked up a gain of about 3.
I'm really intrigued with Blake next year. He's been a solid backup quarterback option, so I think he's your heir apparent behind under center next year, but there's the question then at running back as well. Not to get ahead of ourselves here, but it's with all these really talented seniors and McIntosh and Sheets and DeVries leaving, it's nice to have a Gattenbein as just a sophomore.
Definitely is. Jordan May coming back hopefully next year too in that backfield. Jordan just a sophomore. Unfortunately, he's had to miss a lot of the year. DeVries under center, 2 receivers to the left side, 2 in the backfield. He'll fake the handoff, bootleg out, tried to find Ty Sheets, who was hit immediately. Nice play by Wyatt Dickerson to knock that one incomplete, and it's 3rd down and 7 facing the Wolverines.
It's a tough ask from Sheets to run that crosser, as you see on the Gamble's replay, and he's hit before his feet touch the ground. That's a lot to ask to hang on to that ball. Nice pursuit there by the Warriors defense, and it sets up a pretty important 3rd down here early in this game.
Trips to the left side momentarily, and now Jackson Larson's going to trot to the other side. So 2-by-1 the set. DeVries in the shotgun right at the 50-yard line where his feet are set. He'll look across the middle, throw a pass that's nearly intercepted. That was Caden Schaubel who had a shot at it, but I don't know if he was ready for it. It comes in and out of his hands, and Derek throws 2 incomplete passes in a row, 4th and 7, and here come the Wolverine punt team.
Well, Derek will throw and make 1 bad read a game on average, and this is a pretty simple coverage. This is man cover 2. Nothing really being disguised here, and you see that near side safety is where DeVries is going to want to go with that ball, and bad read. Fortunately for the Wolverines, they'll survive to punt it away.
Gage Treber handling the punt, punted it deep to Wyatt Dickerson, who waved fair catch at his own 15-yard line, and Worland will trot out offensively for the first time.
Well, this is where, as I mentioned, sort of just based on the stat line, if nothing else, an offense that generates 9-10 points a game, kind of similar to a Lander with maybe a little bit of a more stout defense. You want to avoid giving up those couple of big plays that the Wolverines have been occasionally known to give up this year to keep the Warriors in the game.
Colt Weber, sophomore quarterback, took over the starting role midway through the season, is in the shotgun. 2 receivers to either side. Cale Cheatham in the backfield to the right of Weber. It'll be Cheatham with the first handoff, and he is smothered right at the line of scrimmage. Wolverine fans share some noise as Cale gets nothing on first down.
Yeah, stop the run first and foremost. Make the Warriors go to the air to do anything, and that's a lot of times easier said than done. But the Wolverines' front 4 and that second level in the linebacker position, they have suffered some injuries this year. And in that Buffalo game last week especially, was very impressed with how next man up, how underclassmen in some cases will fill a role. I think we had a defender last week for Riverton play his very first varsity game and make a couple of big plays in that big Buffalo upset.
2 receivers to either side again. Cheatham in the backfield with Weber. Weber works out of the gun. Will take it on the run to the left side. Loses footing, and he was going to be harassed by a bunch of Wolverines in the backfield anyway. They may give him no gain. I thought he might have went backwards at first. He will lose a yard maybe, and we're back to 3rd down and 10 after Weber tried to run.
Yeah, no first down so far on this first Worland drive of the game, and you like to put them in uncomfortable positions. But crafty teams like this who know themselves, they may not be a vertical passing threat down the field, but watch a screen here, watch some misdirection in the backfield maybe, watch a play fake.
Very tight formation shown by the Warriors on 3rd down and 10. They'll pitch it backwards. And not getting a lot of traction there was Wyatt Dickerson, who took the carry for maybe a gain of 1. And Wyatt Dickinson only has 2 carries on the season. And he'll gain a yard there, but it's 4th and 9, and Riverton's defense goes 3 and out.
Great job by the Riverton front 4 especially. 3 great run stop plays against Worland. Thought there on 3rd down you might see some trickery, maybe some kind of, especially from that tight formation, a screen or something, but Worland's going to punt it away.
Ryan Dennis has his punt blocked. Wolverines are on it. They're going to get this punt at the 6-yard line.
See here on the Gambles replay, you'll see that pressure coming from the left side. This was such a high arching snap that it just took too long to get back to the punter. And the Wolverines, for the last 3 games, you've seen really impressive edge pressure coming off that left side especially. And that snap was just too high. Took too long to get back to the punter. Relatively easy block for the Wolverine special team unit. Obviously, sorry, Jared. Obviously sets up a very nice spot on the field to start your second drive of the game.
I believe that was Ty Sheets on the block. I don't know if you can tell on the Gambles replay there, but I think I saw Ty flying in from the corner.
And I think he's done the same over the last 3 games as well.
Wolverines in great shape here. 5:17 to play, first quarter, scoreless. Riverton at the 7-yard line. Handoff to Gattenbein, who gets hit right away and spun backwards for half a yard. So tough sledding so far for Blake.
Obviously want the points on this short field, and I'm confident in the Wolverine offense in getting them. But barring a turnover, there is no bad outcome to this drive. When you start inside the 10-yard line, the very worst thing that can happen is a turnover, and beyond that, the absolute worst-case scenario, Worland has, again, a long field in front of them. So this is a great special teams doing a great job of flipping the field for the Wolverines.
2nd down and goal now from the 8 as Blake went backwards a yard. DeVries will operate out of the gun. Send a man in motion. Now Derek will hesitate, look to run, try to go behind a blocker, and not much there for Derek. He may pick up 2 on the carry, but it's going to set up 3rd and goal from about the 6.
That's pretty well played by the Worland front. We've seen this little counter action, especially close to the goal line, where you bring everybody in tight and pull the left side of the offensive line there. Derek just takes a left foot to his left and then goes back to the right. We saw that go for a touchdown against Buffalo last week, but that was well played by the Warriors.
See what Riverton can do here on 3rd and goal. Clock inside of 4 minutes to play, 4th quarter. DeVries is going to work out of the shotgun. He's got Tillman in the backfield and 3 receivers spaced out to the left side. They're going to stack up. Now DeVries looking to the end zone. He's got a man wide open is Nick McIntosh. Left corner of the end zone. McIntosh with the catch, and Riverton on the scoreboard first.
Too easy here for the Riverton Wolverines. You'll see how Worland tries to counter the trips to the left side with basically single coverage, and they're going to sneak this outside linebacker back a little bit to drop in zone help. And all you have to do is run a post to the pylon, the back pylon there, and that's an easy pick and catch for 2 players that have done that all season long at DeVries and Sheets.
Hunter Saltzgaver with the extra point, knocks it through. It is Riverton 7, Worland 0 with 3:38 to play. First quarter, big block punt there from Ty Sheets appeared, and DeVries to McIntosh on 3rd and goal from 6 yards out. Riverton takes the advantage first, and I think you're happy about the points there if you're a Riverton fan, and I think you got to feel even better that the first time your defense was on the field, they forced a 3 and out and only gave up a yard.
I mean, you can tell which direction the field is slanted here. There's no doubt that these teams should not be on equal footing, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything either. You saw that keeper of the goal game in Lander, they were able to get off a couple of big plays to keep themselves in the game. Worland is not going to be able to keep up with the Wolverine offense, but that doesn't mean that they can't find a couple of holes, a couple of big plays, sometimes on special teams, to keep themselves in the game at halftime. So, it's not too complicated. Easier said than done, but you just get that 3 and out again, get the ball back again, score again. That's obviously your goal here.
Will Slagle and Cale Cheatham are back deep for Worland. Hunter Seltzgaver, Riverton kicker, has it teed up at the 40-yard line. Beautiful night at Riverton, too, by the way. It just could not be better football weather, especially in October. We were in the 70s most of the day. A very still evening. Going to have a great sunset to look forward to here as well. End over end kick, hits it about the 2-yard line, goes straight up. That worked out really nicely for Seltzgaver. Cheatham picks it up and finds some room, but he's only going to get to about the 15-yard line. Couldn't have executed that kick much better. It looked like it was going to be a touchback. Hit it about the 2, went straight up, and Cheatham decided, okay, now I have to run with it.
Yeah, Hunter kicking that like it was a sand wedge or something. Just checked up right at the 2-yard line. I'm not sure which direction it would have bounced, but the Worland return man didn't want to take that chance. Might have been a touchback, but great kick cover as a result of an excellent kickoff from the Wolverines.
Sophomore quarterback, Colt Weber under center. Tight formation again. I think Weber's just going to try to push it forward himself this time. That'll be a decent gain of 3 or 4 on first down. Most successful play we've seen so far in Worland's 4 attempts.
I think the Warriors are seeing that Riverton's done a great job in that first drive of a side-to-side pursuit. That's another area of the Wolverine defense that has improved since the start of the season. I think that's one area, Jared, where playing those Codys and Star Valleys in the first part of the year actually does help you down the road when you get used to that kind of a speed, and then you play less, frankly, speedy opponents. The game tends to slow down for you a little bit.
It was one of the things I asked Coach Lenhart about in the Porter's Tailgate show is another surge up the middle, going to go for not a whole lot. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down. I think that might be Mascaro in there for 1 as I try to pick up the PA announcer. Asked Coach Lenhart in the Porter's Tailgate show, does it benefit you to have played that level of talent in the non-conference portion of the season? And he said, yeah, as long as you get out healthy, playing those opponents every time is makes you better. So it's been a fun run here in the 3A East down the stretch for the Wolverines. I think that's Mascaro at quarterback. Gunnar Mascaro is indeed under center, so a quarterback shift, and he'll hand it off to Cale Cheatham, who gets smothered by a couple of Wolverines, Ryan Cox, Talon Tillman, and a host of others.
See a 3rd down stop here on the Gambles replay. Worland offensively and personnel-wise just is not at a place where they can have a very deep playbook, and they're going to be kind of limited in what they're going to be able to do. Just kind of keep between the tackles and try to find a seam. And so far, the Wolverine defense dialed in on it.
Dennis will get this punt off. It is a high end-over-end kick that is going to hit in Wolverine territory at about the 47-yard line, fielded nicely on a knee by Ty Sheets. And with 1:24 remaining in the first quarter, Riverton will take it back over with great field position again and a 7-0 lead.
That's part 1 of the plan that we just kind of outlines. Flipping the field on that 1 punt block and then following that up after the touchdown with a very nice kickoff, the way it turned out. I mean, the Wolverines winning the field position battle, and you have a very short field to try to get your next touchdown of this first quarter already on the Worland side of the 50.
DeVries in the shotgun will send a running back Gattenbein out as a receiver, so 2 receivers to either side. Now he'll screen pass to Seltzgaver, who's got some space. Seltzgaver has a gain of 9 on the screen pass, and a very late flag flies in right at about the 42-yard line.
As we sort the flag out, take a look at the Gambles replay. See this near side slot receiver just taking the top off. He's just going to run to the end zone, which loosens up the defense a little bit for a nice screen play, nicely executed. We have seen linemen downfield against Riverton when they've tried this in the past, and I'm not sure that's the indication this time, but on a screen tends to be that, a block in the back or a hold. Not sure if that was a hold or a block in the back. It was a hold.
10-yard penalty.
10-yard penalty will negate the nice screen pass to Branson Saltzgaver.
Going to result in a loss of 5 from the previous line of scrimmage, looks like.
First down, still should be first down.
Yep.
1st and 14 from the 49-yard line. DeVries wants to throw. Tried Sheets again, who has it knocked away. Sheets has taken a beating already. Good defensive pressure that time. Caden Schabel and Wyatt Dickerson was there.
Derek's trying to squeeze this ball in before the safety can get down and help. And almost doesn't succeed again. Derek's having a hard time seeing that safety or judging how quickly he's going to be able to make a break on the ball. That's the second pass that DeVries has thrown that was honestly should have been picked off in each case.
Inside of a minute to play first quarter. Wolverines will load up with 3 receivers to the right side. Gattenbein again comes out of the backfield to line up on the left side. Empty backfield. DeVries, lots of time to throw. Fires it out. Has a man. It's complete for some yardage. And near a first down is McIntosh. Nope, that's Jackson Larson.
Complete to Peyton Larson.
Jackson Larson is going to have a first down, they say. Pick up a 15. And a nice recovery there from Derek after we've seen him make a couple of uncharacteristic throws. He's right back on the money to Jackson Larson.
Watch here on the Gambles replay. All 4 of these receivers are just going to clear out. And you're going to see Larson block and then release. And with a clear out from those receivers, plenty of room over the middle. That was a nice short throw there by DeVries. Results in a first down.
Derek's got 2 in the backfield. Send Branson Saltzgaver in motion. Line him up at the left wing. They'll pitch it backwards to Saltzgaver. Hunter is going to pick up 5. Maybe closer to 4 now as the official takes a step back. But second down and 6. And that may run out the clock here in the first quarter.
Tackle by Dow.
It will.
So after 1, it's the Riverton Wolverines 7, the Worland Warriors 0. Riverton on the move when we start the second quarter. Take a timeout, bring you quarter 2 right after this. You are watching the Wolverines on County 10's YouTube channel and listening on 105.1 Jack F.
Looking for an upgrade to your vehicle? Wyoming 4x4 is the place to go for all your upgrade needs. From lift kits to bumpers, grill guards to bed liners, we've got everything you need to take your ride to the next level. We use top brands for our bumpers like Fab 4s, Ranch Hand, and Road and more. So get your vehicle ready and stop at Wyoming 4x4 or give Dan a call at 307-857-3175.
Redden, Kane & Associates. CPAs is your go-to source for tax, financial, and business solutions. Our experienced professionals are trusted and know the numbers. We're dedicated to providing personalized attention to each of our clients. Whether you're an individual or a business, we're here to help with all your accounting needs. Let us do the math for you. Stop in or visit rivertoncpa.com to learn more.
Find more Fremont County sports coverage on the County 10 Sports Podcast.
Jared Anderson, Scott Fuller, Jason Peterson from a picture-perfect night at Wolverine Field. Riverton on top of Worland 7-0 as we start the second quarter. Riverton football at their own 32. DeVries lost the football on the snap, was able to jump right back on it. Picks up a yard as he falls forward, but scary play there for Riverton fans with the ball on the turf. Luckily, quick-thinking senior quarterback was able to get back on it. 3rd down and 5 coming up.
Hard to tell from up here. It looked like Derek may have taken that first step back from under center too soon. Definitely took that step back without having the ball. So, yeah, that's the kind of thing in this game you have to avoid. If Worland's going to stay in the way it should turn out, if they're going to stay in, it's going to take a couple of mistakes just like that one.
3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left for DeVries. Coach Lenhart's got his hands up in the air. We'll call in the play. DeVries We'll now look at a flag from the back judge, which usually indicates delay a game, and that's exactly what we've got. So Riverton going backwards. Not quite as clean offensively as we've seen the Wolverines so far this year. Obviously still early in this one with a lot of time to go, but some things to clean up here early on offensively.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be a hangover from the big upset win last week over Buffalo that everybody in the state was talking about. I don't think that's what we're seeing, but I am happy it didn't happen last week, because of a start like this, kind of some of these small mistakes, and Derek almost throwing 2 picks there in the first quarter. You can't do that against the Bison, so hopefully we've seen the last of those here in this game against the Warriors.
Trips to the right for the Wolverines. One receiver out to the left. It's Gattenbein in the backfield with DeVries. DeVries under a lot of pressure is going to be sacked. He might have lost the football. They're going to say incomplete. So Derek, his arm moving forward apparently is.
I think it was. I think you'll see here on the Gambles replay, this was kind of a confusing play in the backfield, but as he's starting to get hit, they might hit him with grounding, but it was a incomplete pass. I don't see a flag though after that play.
Be 4th and 9, they say. Gage Treber is in to punt it away. He's standing right at midfield, so maybe an opportunity to pin him deep. Very low snap. Treber does a nice job handling it on a bounce. It'll hit at the 5-yard line. Wolverine team is down to pin him at about the 6. Nice punt by Gage Treber, and an even better job handling the snap there by Gage. I was down on the field for special teams warm-up talking with Coach Lenhart, and I did notice that there were a couple of errant snaps for Treber as he was practicing, so I was hoping that wasn't going to carry over to the game, but that was a low one that was handled nice.
That bounced. That bounced a good 2 feet in front of him. Yeah, very fortunate for the Wolverines. He was able to corral it and get actually a beautiful punt off after all that. In Lander, and they are in Lander, aren't they? Lander 7, Douglas 0 after the first quarter.
Interesting score there. We'll bring you some wacky scenarios that could happen if there are some upsets tonight. It's Mascaro again at quarterback for Worland. So we had a quarterback switch after the first series, and Gunnar Mascaro is wearing number 10. He's a sophomore for this team. Colt Weber had been the starting quarterback. We saw Mason Decker get the start in the first 3 or 4 games this season for Worland. Weber is available. Decker is available. Well, I don't know what happened to Weber, but Decker is available tonight, but they're going to go with Gunnar Mascaro instead.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened, if there was like an injury or something like that, but that's an interesting, definitely interesting development for the Warriors.
Gunner's just going to push the pile forward again and may have 2 before he's smothered by Derek DeVries, Zarek Prosser, and more.
Special teams, the unit of the night, at least so far in this one, with a couple of great kicks and a beautiful punt there. I mean, when you're a between the tackles run first team like the Warriors are sort of necessitated to being, just a young team, the personnel they have, you can't count on driving the ball 95 yards against a pretty good Riverton defense. So special teams, the unit of the night so far in the first half.
3rd down and 5 for the Warriors from their own 10-yard line. Warriors trying to get their first down of the game. Gunner under center, tight formation again. He'll hand the ball off to Cheatham. Cheatham tries to spin in the backfield. He's not going to get anything. In fact, he may have lost a yard. Ultimately, Talon Tillman on the pursuit again.
Tackle by Ryan Cox.
Saw Ryan Cox in there. Ryan will get the PA credit, and Rennig in there as well for the Wolverines. I try to pick out as many names as I can. They're just all over the place defensively.
That was a very interesting play design here in the Gambles replay. You'll see the back that's going to get the ball is lined up over his left tackle, and then he's going to go all the way across the formation to the right side before he gets the pitch. And what that does for the defense is gives them just that much longer to look and see where the ball is going to be in the backfield. So without a misdirection, I'm not sure I love that play design.
The Dennis punt will take a great bounce. That bounced an additional 15, 16 yards after it originally hit the turf. It will go into Riverton territory. They'll get it 1st and 10 at their own 46. So even with a really nice roll, still pretty good field position again for the Wolverines. And Riverton on top 7-0 with 8:34 to play second quarter on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard.
Our Wolverine sponsors
I don't want to keep mentioning this too much, but it's just not the same offensive productivity so far that we're used to seeing from Riverton.
A lot of small mistakes. It could have been big turnovers, and the Wolverines have lucked out in that regard so far, but don't let Worland hang around here. Just get this in the end zone, get 14 on the board, and get back to where it should be.
Derek under center will hand the football off to Saltzgaver, and Hunter will plow forward for a gain of 2. Saltzgaver's second carry of the ball game. Trying my best to bring you some 3A scores of interest, but not seeing a lot of updates yet. So coming up here at the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show, I'll run down all the scores we can find.
Obviously watching action from around 3A, especially in the East. But it's only really relevant if the Wolverines lose. And there are a couple of scores to watch if they win. They're only up 7-0 here, and they have had those offensive miscues so far.
DeVries works out of the shotgun. Will flip it to Sheets. Sheets has got a lot of room. Here we go. Foot race. Ty Sheets is inside of the 20. Finally tripped up at the 15-yard line. Ty Sheets all the way from his own 48 down to the 15. First down, Riverton. Biggest play yardage-wise of the game.
See here on the Gambles replay the beginning of this play in the backfield, and you'll see that right outside linebacker for Worland come in, and Sheets is able to undercut him, and by that point he has a beautiful lane. It's a lot more like it. There's a lot of things in the Coach Lanhart offensive playbook I think that can be exploited against this defense. Just hasn't really worked until that last play.
Ty picked up 37 on the carry. Will come in motion. Little misdirection there, and the Wolverines try to stretch it out on the left side. We'll pick up a gain of about 5 on first down.
Use the success of the previous play to set something up on the next play. That was a good gain of 5. So one block away from finding the end zone there. Nice job by the Worland secondary, reading that misdirection in the backfield and diagnosing the play.
There's Hunter Saltzgaver again, his third carry for 11 yards on the evening as we approach about 7 minutes to play in the second quarter. Again, Riverton found the scoreboard first on a Derek DeVries to Nick McIntosh 6-yard catch. 2nd and 5 for Riverton. DeVries fake the handoff, is going to keep it. He's got a lot of room down to the goal line, and he's going to be about a step short. Wanted to see the hands go up from the officials. They won't give it to him, but a nice pickup from Derek, and it'll be 1st and goal from the foot line.
That was really close. Nice job here by Derek DeVries, being just a patient running back, staying behind his blocks, and then adding some power at the end of the play when he needed it. Well, it looked like he fell right on that goal line from here, but we don't have a great vantage point, and still a great run. Brings up a 1st and goal from just about as close as you can be.
Getting behind DeVries. DeVries is just going to push forward behind his center, Mills, and he is in. Touchdown, Wolverines. So that's more like the Riverton offense that we've come to know. They travel 54 yards, take 2 minutes and 24 seconds off the clock, and finish the drive with a Derek DeVries 1-yard quarterback sneak.
Yeah, that's a nice job by the offensive line, really, that entire drive. A couple of nice runs. You see an offside penalty on the PAT before the play. Nice job by the offensive line. And undersized on both sides of the ball against some of these teams that we've played. They've only gotten better, both units. The offensive and defensive lines have only gotten better as the season has gone on, just working with what you do have. And really, I mean, probably the reason that the Wolverines were able to win last week, and definitely the reason the Wolverines were able to score on that last drive.
Long snapper Nathan Mills will send it to holder Nick McIntosh. Hunter Saltzgaver splits the uprights, and it's Riverton 14, Worland 0 with 6:20 to play in the second quarter. Good drive there, and you got to think back to that 37-yard Ty Sheets run as the big play of the drive. Riverton's gotten the football in outstanding field position just about every time here so far, with the exception of the opening kickoff, and they capitalize that time, which is good to see. 6:20 to play in the half, and Riverton has scored twice. Worland still looking for their first down of the game.
And this is, I think, if you were to draw up offensively what Coach Mark Lenhart would like every Riverton Wolverine game to look like, it'd be this, basically. Minus a couple of mistakes, a couple of poor reads on some deep passes, but when it comes to run-pass balance, run first to set up a deeper pass down the field, I think that's what Coach Lenhart would ideally like to do, and until this point in the season, he really hasn't been able to stick to that, either coming from behind or trying to stay in the game. But this and Lander, I think, are the games that you can look to in this regular season to say the Wolverines dictated the tempo. They ran to set up the pass. They did what they wanted to do offensively. Not as clean as you'd like to see, as we've mentioned, but the defense has been great. Special teams unit's been outstanding so far in the first half, and the Wolverine offense have converted on 2 of those touchdown drives.
Hunter Saltzgaver will put it on the tee. Told our radio audience may be having some technical difficulties, so I'm going to try my best to fix that on the fly. Hopefully that fixes things. Again, if you're listening on 105.1 Jack FM, apologize for some technical difficulties trying to get that sorted out. The kickoff went into the end zone. It's a touchback, so Worland will get it from their own 20 to start their 4th drive of the game. So far, 3 possessions. They've gone 3 and out 3 times.
I think the Warriors have to get pretty creative as they can be with that between the tackles run scheme. It's pretty apparent they're still a young team. They're known more for their defense than their offense anyway. But as Jared just mentioned, the Warriors looking for their first down of the game, and it's getting to that point here later in the second half that if you're going to stay in this game and avoid the Wolverines running away with things here, you do have to get a couple of first downs, at least flip the field on this drive. If not, try to find a hole in the defense and score some points.
I'm told our radio audience missed that last drive, so I'll catch you up here on the fly. Worland football, tight formation. Mascaro, the quarterback, tried to keep it and picked up maybe half a yard. Not much doing there. Great job by the Wolverine defensive front. Again, Riverton's last possession, they received the football at their own 46. Had a Ty Sheets 37-yard run. Derek DeVries with a couple of nice runs, and it was ultimately Derek from 1 yard out punching it into the end zone to put Riverton up 14-0 on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard. We're at 5:50 to play in the second quarter.
That last first down run, good for a couple of yards for the Warriors. It is just not going to work. It is not going to work against the front 4 for the Wolverines. And I'm more than happy to have them try that all night, but they're not going to find a hole in the defense there.
Gunner under center, that tight formation. They're going to try to stretch it out a little bit on a pitch play to Cheatham. Cheatham cannot get to the edge, though. Really nice job by the Wolverine defenders stretching things out. I saw Zarek Prosser there again. Ty Sheets and Talon Toman on the pursuit. Also give a shout out to Hunter Ryman for hustling very well. There, I think I've called Ryman a couple of different times. I do think it is Riemann.
Play on the Gambles replay just taking a little too long to develop in the backfield. And the Wolverines, as we mentioned in the first quarter, they really have gotten a lot more efficient and even, I'd say, quicker side to side on the defense.
First time we've seen Mascaro in the shotgun, and a timeout is being asked for, I think. The officials are going to blow the play dead at least.
They called a delay. Hard to see.
Illegal substitution.
Official on the far side of the field, the referee. I guess it will be an illegal substitution according to the public address announcer.
3rd and 13 coming up.
3rd down and 13 after the illegal substitution. 4:38 to play. Again, Riverton on top 14-0. Riverton can win the 3A East with a victory. And with a win, we would be right back here at Wolverine Field next week, hosting the Evanston Red Devils, who have secured the number 4 seed out of the West.
Certainly. would take a couple big upsets elsewhere for that not to be the case.
Another stoppage from the officials, and this time we will officially get a Worland timeout as Coach Patrick Sweeney is asking for it. So Worland timeout. It'll be a long third down situation for the Warriors coming up. Again, this is their 4th possession. They're trying to avoid their 4th consecutive 3 and out.
I mean, you give credit to the Wolverine defense, obviously. They're the ones out there getting the initial point of attack pressure and making nice tackles. Haven't seen anything to complain about at all from the Wolverines defensively. The Worland's a pretty one-dimensional offense, just kind of in a, I like using the word rebuilding in high school especially, but they're young and their talents are where they are. Kind of similar to a Rollins team that we saw here a couple of weeks ago. But we're able to use their resources well enough to hang in the game, and that's what the Riverton defense is trying to avoid here. This is not 4-down territory yet for Worland, and they're in a tough spot. They don't like third and long situations. No offense does. But get a stop here, get the ball back, and punch at least one more in before halftime.
Mascaro will go in the gun. He's got 5 receivers to the left side in one of the more interesting formations I've ever seen. He's going to run with it, slip to tackle, and will pick up some positive yardage. He's still going to be well short of the first down, but he did gain about 5 on the interesting formatted play.
It sure was. As you see on the Gambles replay, those 5 wide to the left side, and they're going to block. And 2 or 3 of those receivers, as you see on the Gambles replay, had a hard time finding a black jersey to go hits, and quarterback didn't really have a chance on that left side. And it will result in at least a punt formation from the Warriors.
Dennis will handle a very slow snap. That was kind of lobbed back to him. It'll hit at the 45-yard line, bounce into Riverton territory, and finally drift out of bounds at his own 42. So 3.5 minutes to play in the half. Riverton offense will run back out onto the field with an opportunity here again in pretty good field position at their own 42-yard line.
So as you think about the postseason, if it does end up being a game here against Evanston, which I think at the time that we went to Evanston, we thought was a winnable game, but you got to prove that you can do things on purpose, do things intentionally, and put teams away when they're kind of asking for it. Worland does not have a first down in this game. Riverton needs to finish this off with 7 just to show themselves they can do it against these teams.
Derek out of the gun will fake the throw. Wanted a man across the middle off of the hands of McIntosh, and maybe for the 3rd time an opportunity that Worland thought they had a chance at intercepting the football falls incomplete, luckily for Riverton.
Yeah, this is the 3rd near pick of the game. This one on a tip, as DeVries in the pocket does have some pressure from his left a little bit there. Nice route. Nice throws, just a little bit quicker, I think, than DeVries wanted to make it by maybe a beat or so, and it ended up being just a little bit high on the receiver and nearly tipped and intercepted.
Douglas has tied things up with Lander in the second quarter at 7s. Rollins and Buffalo also tied at 7 in the first quarter.
Of course they are. I'll have to keep an eye on both those games.
The tiebreaker scenarios might get crazy. Ty Sheets looked like he was eager to go from his wide receiver position before the ball was snapped, unfortunately. Now back to Riverton offense up 5 yards and bring him back to their own 37, now facing a 2nd and 15.
I think Ty was a little bit confused there. He was looking in the backfield and saw motion and said, oh, time to go. But that was just motion pre-play. That was not on the snap of the ball, so penalty against the Wolverines.
Derek in the gun, trips to the right. Sheets, the lone receiver, out to the left. Gattenbein with him in the backfield. Derek on the run with it. Wanted McIntosh again, overthrown, incomplete.
So even if this throw, which is not a terrible throw by DeVries, you'll see here on the Gambles replay, but it has to be on the money in order for the over-the-top defender not to have a shot at this ball. And it's a good thing the Wolverine defender was able to get his hands on that high throw, because that, again, a little bit of a misread by Derek DeVries. There's nothing complicated about the coverage I can see, but the only thing I can think of is the Wolverines have seen a lot of single coverage. And this is more of a zone look with an extra safety that Derek may not be accounting for. Wolverines have gotten away with it so far. Not a bad throw. But on that kind of read, just too high and, again, very dangerous.
Derek, 2 of 8, 23 yards passing. DeVries out of the shotgun again, looking to the right side. Going to air out a high pass. Wanted McIntosh. Flag comes in. And I think they're going to get Ryan Dennis for some kind of pass interference or hold. Dennis had pretty good coverage most of the way, but then it looked like he got a little bit too aggressive as the ball was in the air, and that ball was in the air for a long time.
It was. That was a moonshot there by Derek DeVries, and I like the route you're going to see coming towards you across the field. This is, let's call this a Georgia route, where you go across and then go vertical. Just to prove I'm not a homer, I don't like that flag. I think especially because the ball was underthrown. The defender did not get his head around, but the ball was underthrown, so the receiver had to come back a little bit for it. And I mean, that's a very expensive penalty on third down. I've always thought it shouldn't be like this, I guess, but if you're going to give a free first down to an offense, it should be kind of correspondingly egregious.
15 yards.
And of all the PIs we have seen not called, I think I would have rather the official keep it in his pocket there on that one, but then again, it does benefit the Wolverines, so I won't complain too much.
I was going to say, I grew up in Riverton, so I really like that call, Scott. But yeah, one of the calls that I wouldn't have been surprised had there not been pass interference, I'll say that. 3:14 to play, Wolverines on top 14-0, and a fresh set of downs now for the Wolverines at the Warrior 48-yard line. Sheets comes in motion. Now pitch backwards to Saltzgaver. Saltzgaver is going to run into a whole lot of Worland Warriors. Ryan Dennis in the backfield. And Fisher Martinez is there to gobble him up.
Saltzgaver's trying to get the edge here. This is why you'll see him go almost horizontal on the pitch before he goes down the field. Nice job at the left side of the Worland defensive line to keep the edge, and there's just nowhere to go. And because it was all side to side in the backfield, that results in a pretty substantial loss of 3 or 4 on first down. It's just a good defensive play. Nothing wrong with trying to get the edge first before you go downfield as the running back there, but nice defensive play to seal the left side.
Be a 2nd and 13 coming up after Coach Lenhart addresses his team with a timeout. Scott, on a personal note, got to throw this out there to everybody. It is the one and only Scott Fuller's birthday, so
yes, thank you.
A very happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was kind of a long, uncelebratory day for me. It's a busy weekend for us with this game tonight. We have the Du Bois broadcast we'll talk about. That's tomorrow afternoon.
You get to spend your whole birthday weekend with me.
Well, weren't we here on your birthday as well?
Yeah, it's interesting how it started. The season started with 0 week on my birthday. It wraps up in week 8 with your birthday. We also spent you and your wife's anniversary together in Douglas, so all of your momentous occasions have been marked with me, apparently.
I mean, just people listening and watching right now saying, what are you doing? What do you mean, your anniversary and your birthdays? But I would rather be nowhere else on a night like this, though. It's perfect.
It is perfect here in Riverton tonight. Gorgeous evening. DeVries out of the shotgun, out of the timeout, sets up a screen pass. Wolverines trying to pick up some yardage. Trying to make out who that pass was to. Is that Blake there as he gets out of the pile? It is Blake Gattenbein, who picked up a gain of about 10 on the screen pass, but a flag flies in, so we'll check that.
There might be 2, because I saw a lineman downfield, and it might be a hold on top of that. They're going to call the hold. See here on the Gamble's replay, you saw the flag actually come in. There are 2 flags down, so I think they're just going to call the hold, but I also saw linemen downfield. We've seen that a little bit too much on the screen game and some of those backfield slow progressing plays by the Wolverines. Something to address in practice, certainly before any playoff game next week.
Riverton's been penalized 4 times here in the first half so far.
Excuse me, 2nd down.
Derek will work out of the shotgun again as this drive has kind of been 1 step forward, 2 steps back for Riverton so far.
Not crisp again.
Derek take the snap. Good job by Gattenbein picking up some of the pressure. Derek's going to run with it, trying to get to midfield, and will turn it into a positive gain. He's struck down at about his own 49-yard line, picks up 5.
DeVries, the ball carrier.
I like Derek not throwing this ball. He really, really wanted to. He's going to launch another one down the right side, but he sees coverage is not what he wants and decides to make the best of it. And you never get credit for the interceptions you don't throw, but very often that's the smart thing to do, especially on a second down.
3rd and long for Riverton at midfield. 3rd and 13 officially. DeVries in the gun again, 2-by-2 the set. He's got Tillman with him blocking in the backfield. Wants to throw. That one is picked off. Returning the football for Worland midfield is defensive back Caden Schabel. Saw the ball hit his hands in the first quarter, and Caden was able to bring that one in.
I blame myself for calling him the best quarterback in 3A East, and I stand by it, but he's having a rough night at reading tonight. He is not seeing this safety at all, and I think we've gotten used to seeing that single coverage, and you can get away with that slant and not have to worry about what's on the backside of the play. But Derek DeVries threw that same pass twice in the first quarter and got away with it, but he will throw the turnover on 3rd down.
Now an opportunity for Worland offensively. Best field position by far of the night. Gunnar Mascaro out of the shotgun. Has 2 receivers to the right side, 2 in the backfield with him. Mascaro is going to roll to the right now, plant his feet and throw. That was caught for a second and then dropped by Slagle. Will Slagle looked like he had a pretty good chance at that one, but off of his fingertips, and that'll prevent the first Worland first down of the game.
Yeah, that was a great read on the rollout, too. There was a hole in the zone there that was identified, and that is obviously one that the receiver would like to have back. Will bring Coach Lenhart to calling his 2nd timeout of the half.
It was the first pass attempt we've seen of the game for the Warriors.
If Worland's going to stick around in this one, and they can make it a 1-score game on this drive, but it's going to have to be a lot more creative outside of the tackles, whether it's a screen game or a pitch, which hasn't been successful either, or some short passing if they're able to do that. The Riverton's just letting this team hang around a little bit too much already.
They call it the Fall Brawl, the rivalry between Star Valley and Jackson. Braves out in front. First quarter score, 21-0. Douglas has tallied on 2 more touchdowns against Lander. They lead 21-7. Gunner in the shotgun. Rolling to the right again. Similar looking play, was nearly tackled for a loss by Tolman and will bounce off of him off to the right sideline and pick up about 3 before he's shoved out of bounds.
Interesting place on the field here for Worland at no man's land, where not sure if it benefits you enough to punt. Worland's also had 1 punt blocked already in the first quarter.
3rd down.
And you wonder how much of this do the Warriors get to maybe think about going for it on 4th down if it comes to that.
Was the junior Hunter Riemann there on the stop. Coach Lenhart's been very complimentary of Riemann coming in, especially getting some more playing time due to injuries the last couple of games. 3rd down and 6 on the way for Worland from the Riverton 45-yard line. Gunner empty set. A couple of Wolverines may have jumped. There was movement at the start. Flags fly in, and they're going to say procedure on Worland first. So
that's a break.
Glad I missed the reason a couple of Wolverines jumped.
I would have called that right end on Riverton, too. Didn't see the movement in the backfield.
Flag on the play.
Although they are discussing things now. Yeah, it was a procedure, a false start before the play. So thought for a moment Riverton might be giving Worland a very good shot at their first down conversion, but it will now be the other way around. We have a 3rd and 11 coming up here.
Ball right at midfield after the Warriors' 4th penalty of the game. Worland 3-4 on the season, 2-2 in conference play. Very similar schedule to Riverton. They didn't face the Giants out of the West, but they have faced some tough opponents. Gunner will roll it out to the right side on the run. Just a designed run play, it looked like, and only a pickup of 1 on 3rd and long.
It was a designed run to the right here on the Gambles replay. I'm not sure about calling this to the short side of the field with only 2 receivers out there to block. Credit the Wolverines. That linebacker core has really gotten pretty speedy and efficient going side to side to track these outside runs down.
Ryan Dennis, the punter, is back out there, so would appear Riverton may get the football back late, but first a timeout asked for by Coach Patrick Sweeney. So Worland will burn their second timeout with 1:32 to play here in the half. Again, got state cross country coming up tomorrow for the Riverton cross country team. Good luck to Coach Ton Gopp and all of the Wolverine cross country runners. Got conference girls swimming on the way this weekend, too. I guess prelims happen today and the finals are tomorrow. Then the state girls swim meet is a week away in Gillette. Volleyball will host Cody tomorrow at 1 o'clock after they knocked off their rivals Lander for a second time this season on Tuesday. And one more time, big shout out to the RHS Marching Band director Andy Peaks and the band members earning the highest possible honor at State Marching Band, the Superior Award.
I was going to ask about that because they played last Friday here, and they had the state competition coming up the next day. We do have it lined up to show you the marching band. It looks like they're on the far sideline getting ready to come out on the field at halftime.
Yeah, going to do our best to bring you a little bit of the band. Love doing that. Keep in mind that for our video audience, we are also on radio, so we've got some obligations there. 4th and 9 coming up, and after the timeout, Worland is going to show they're going for it. Mascaro out of the shotgun quickly. 3 receivers to the left side, looks over the middle. He's got a man. It's complete for a first down and a whole lot more. Receiving the football is Roman Para. First down of the game, and it comes at a big time for the Warriors.
I really like this play call, and I was kind of curious how capable the offense is of a play like this, but you see the clear out by the other 2 receivers and that middle receiver coming across the zone. Enough cushion with a good enough throw to get the first down.
Gunner in the shotgun again. Oh, looked like he might have thought about handing it to Cheatham. Now Gunner's just going to air it out deep down the field. Is it intercepted? It was caught by a Wolverine DB, but he looked like he was out of bounds, and he will be ruled out of bounds. I think that was Ty that came down with it. It was either Ty or Jackson Larson. They were both in on the play.
We're not going to have a great angle from all the way over here on the Gambles replay at the end of the play, but you see this is a this is a throw you don't make. If you don't know what's going to happen when you chuck that ball up like that, definitely don't want to throw it, but very Russell Wilson-esque.
I think
throw.
I think Ty Sheets was able to catch it. Jackson Larson was there on coverage too.
Just a frustrated Broncos fan. I love Russ. Frustrated.
Gunner tried to run it to the left side, and he'll be tripped up. Ryan Cox is in there for the Wolverines first.
Mascaro brought down.
And Mascaro goes backwards.
Brings up 3rd and long.
Important play here on 3rd and long. I think given that the Warriors went for it at midfield, they're certainly apt to go for it here if it does result in, especially if it results in 4th and any shorter than currently, but still 3rd and a long 13 or 14 right now. And the Warriors having trouble moving the ball with 40 seconds and counting before halftime, just 1 first down so far.
Yeah, that clock moving, and 3rd and long is Mascaro in the shotgun. Wanted Para again. That's too far in front of him. Incomplete. And we'll see what Worland opts to do now on 4th and long. No man's land as far as a punt. I don't know what they've got as far as kicking range. Did see that they...
I don't think they have this.
Converted a few field goals on the season, but definitely not this long.
And the Gambles replay, exact same play from the same formation that Worland used to get the first down. See the 2 receivers clear out and the middle receiver coming over the middle. And I don't like that they ran the same play in almost back-to-back fashion, and the Wolverines didn't really see it coming. Had that throw been on the money, that would have been close to another first down.
Football on the 31 of Riverton, 4th and 13. Worland going for it. Ryan Cox has a lot of pressure. Mascaro got away, airs it out. It's swatted away by Ty Sheets in the secondary, incomplete. Nice pressure by Ryan Cox in the backfield to disrupt things early on. Credit Gunner Mascaro for getting a throwaway and got a deep throwaway, but Ty Sheets was there in the secondary again. Ty's having a great game back deep.
He is. It's here on the Gambles replay. Blitz coming up the middle. And once Mascaro gets out of the pocket here, it becomes a pretty dangerous play because of the pressure. Your DBs are on an island by themselves.
Timeout.
And
Riverton.
if Sheets doesn't stick with his receiver for the extra second or 2 seconds and put himself in great position to make a play on the ball down the field without committing a penalty, that might be a touchdown for Worland. So great job on the backside of the play. Nice pressure up front, and the Wolverines get the ball back on downs.
Interesting timeout right there from Coach Lenhart. If he did want to try to do anything long, he's out of timeouts now with just a few seconds left before halftime from his own 31-yard line. Again, Riverton 3-1 in the East Conference, trying to go 4-1, and a win would very, very likely give them home field advantage in the 3A East's #1 seed in a matchup next weekend against the Evanston Red Devils right here at the friendly site of Wolverine Field.
I think what the Wolverines want to do without timeouts here late in the first half is also the same thing that you want. Well, they're going to take a knee, but maybe something to look at coming out of the second half is DeVries over the middle just to get kind of his timing back and the confidence back with 2 balls that should have been picked off by that safety and the pick in the end of the first half. Get him some stuff to the sideline, get him some short stuff, just get him back in the game. But all in all, wasn't the cleanest first half, Jared, that we've seen from these Wolverines by far, but clean enough on the scoreboard, up 2 touchdowns in a win, and you're in the #1 seed, basically, kind of a game.
Take a look at some first half numbers coming up in just a little bit, and we'll also keep you up to date with some other 3A scores of interest and bring you a couple other Fremont County scores of interest too while we're at it here at halftime. The first thing we're going to do, though, is on our video coverage on County 10's YouTube channel and County 10's Facebook, we're going to try our very best to show you a few minutes of the RHS Marching Band. Again, if you're on the radio audience, we're going to listen in here to the band for just a couple of minutes and leave you with that. But we salute the RHS Marching Band, earning a Superior Award at the state championships last weekend. Congratulations to Director Andy Peaks and all of the band members. At the half, it is Riverton 14, Worland nothing. And again, the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show is on the way after we bring you a couple of minutes of the performance of the RHS Marching Band. Director Peaks and some of the band members will be on the County 10 podcast with us next week and part of our broadcast as we roll into the 3A football playoffs. We'll let the RHS Marching Band, who's now at midfield, take it away here at the half. Once again, Riverton on top of Worland 14-0. you go, the Riverton High School Marching Band performing here at halftime at Wolverine Field. Again, Riverton on top of the Worland Warriors 14-0. And again, our congratulations to the band for their superior effort at State Marching Band last weekend. Coming up at the half, we're going to check out some first half scoring numbers, and we're also going to check out the 3A scores of interest from around Wyoming high school football. We'll take a time out, bring you the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show in moments. You're watching the Wolverines on County 10's YouTube channel and listening on 105.1 Jack FM.
Over the speed limit. Look at the damage. This guy was going a lot over the speed limit. Look at the damage. This guy was going a little over the speed limit. Look at the damage.
Myers Gambles is your one-stop shop for furniture, mattresses, and appliances in Lander, Wyoming. We have an unbeatable selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, and dining room. Plus, we have the latest trends in home furnishings. Our mattresses are comfortable and affordable, and our appliances are built to last. Whether you're looking for a new TV, sofa, or refrigerator, we have the perfect finish, style, and function for your home. Visit us at 420 Main Street in Lander, or check out our website, landergambles.com. Today.
County 10 is your Fremont County news leader. We're everywhere. On the web, mobile, social, and on your radio dial, with all the news you need to feel connected. From sports to board meetings and community features, we work hard to bring you all the latest updates you care about. Visit us today at county10.com. County 10, community connected.
Elevate Rehab's founding principle on you is evident from your first visit to the last. Our practice model ensures treatment as you deserve, a private one-on-one session with a licensed therapist the entire visit, every visit. All therapists hold advanced credentialing, including 2 certified hand therapists, an orthopedic clinical specialist, an MDT therapist, as well as pelvic floor and pregnancy rehab offerings. With over 100 years of combined experience between our 7 clinicians, Elevate is your ticket to health. Find us in Lander, DuBois, and visit our website or Facebook page. Choose Elevate Rehab to elevate your outcomes.
Watch the Wolverines on the County 10 YouTube page.
Welcome you back to halftime at Wolverine Field. This is the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show made possible by the Wyoming Department of Transportation. They remind you, seatbelts save lives. It is plain and simple, even if you're headed for a short drive in Wyoming, no matter how short or far your drive is. Buckle Up for Life Wyoming, thanks to YDOT making the halftime show possible. Riverton sitting with a 14-0 advantage at the midway point over the Worland Warriors. And Scott, as you kind of reflect on those first 2 quarters, I think Riverton fans are happy to be up 14-0, but certainly some things to clean up, especially on the offensive side of the football. There were a few mistakes there.
Defense was great. Special teams was outstanding, creating a lot of short field situations for the offense. Offense wasn't bad, just a couple of mistakes. I mean, notably the misread by Derek DeVries. I mean, I said it before the broadcast, and I stand by it. He's the best quarterback in 3A East, and his stat line would not reflect that. I mean, his skill set, the way he can step up in the pocket, the way he can throw, he's such an accurate passer, the way he can move as a run threat. But he is having a hard time with something about this coverage that Worland has thrown out. He's had 2 passes that should have been picked by that free safety, and the third one finally was, resulting in, unfortunately, what was the only turnover. There were a couple of snap issues on punts. There was a quarterback center exchange issue in the second quarter there as well. Just not tight, not as tight as you're going to need it to be, certainly in the first playoff game next week. But sometimes coming off a huge, just emotionally draining win against Buffalo, sometimes you need kind of that reset, and this is not an unimportant game for the Wolverines, wanting that 1 seed. Otherwise, you have to get on the bus next week as opposed to hosting a playoff game. But there is no shortage of things to lock down for the offense. The good news is they're all mental. They're all There's no technique problems that we're seeing. There's no schematic thing that you really have to change to counter anything Worland's doing defensively. Just more of an awareness thing. And as I said at the end of the first half, I think you give Derek some good short timing routes to the sideline to kind of get his rhythm back, get him back in the ball game, and seeing the field a little bit better. But all in all, I mean, it's 14-0 on the scoreboard. Those are the only numbers that matter. Wolverines probably feel like they should be up by double that, but they are up by 2 scores heading into the second half, and they'll also get the ball back to start the second half as well.
Credit the Worland defense. Certainly, they've been very tough all season long, and it's been amplified by a few Wolverine mistakes. But
I got to correct something, Jared. I'm sorry. The Worland deferred to the second half, so the Warriors will get the ball to begin the second half. I was just making stuff up there.
That's what we're good at. Isn't that what we do on a weekly basis? Let's take a look at some individual scoring numbers. Gunnar Mascaro, the sophomore quarterback that came in for Worland, is 1 of 5 passing. Did have that 21-yard completion to Roman Parra. That's been the only reception, the only first down for Worland so far. Mascaro has ran the ball for 7 attempts for 9 yards. Cale Cheatham has carried the football 7 times, he's carried it 5 times for 7 yards, and Colt Weber has carried the football 3 times for 3 yards. So not a lot of offensive productivity to speak of for Worland, just 1 first down in the first half. Riverton's Derek DeVries is 2 of 9 passing, does have an interception, 23 yards. Derek has carried the football on the run 6 times for 30 yards. Ty Sheets has carried it twice for 40 yards, including that big 37-yard gain. The biggest play as far as yardage of the first half was that 37-yard Ty Sheets carry. Blake Gattenbines carried it 3 times for 5 yards. Hunter Saltz gave her 4 carries for 8 yards. So limited numbers there for the Wolverines. Nick McIntosh had that 6-yard touchdown catch from Derek DeVries, one of his 2 completions, and then Derek did have a 1-yard quarterback sneak in the first half to give Riverton their 2 touchdowns. They lead 14-0 here at the intermission. You're watching the Wolverine cheer team on the field now on County 10's YouTube channel, and listening to the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show on 105.1 Jack FM. Taking a look here real quick at some scores of interest while we've got them. Star Valley is on top of Jackson big time in the second quarter, 34-0. Games with maybe a little bit of importance to Riverton fans tonight. Douglas now way out in front of Lander, 35-7. That's just before halftime. And still in the second quarter, Buffalo leads Rollins 21-7. It'll be it's a later start for Powell and Cody. They've just kicked off at Cody, but that's number 2 versus number 3. I'm just curiosity's sake interested to see how Powell and Cody stack up.
I want to see how Cody responds to what's been kind of an up and down couple of weeks. They did take care of business after losing to Star Valley 2 weeks ago. They did take care of business in the second half last week, but they're kind of in an interesting spot, it seems like. And how good is Powell? And when you talk about a test, Powell and Cody has the potential of being a very good game, maybe a future playoff matchup as well.
Couple of scores from yesterday of interest. There was a 3A game yesterday. Evanston knocked off Green River 44-20 in Green River, so that solidified the number 4 seed out of the West for Evanston. And a Fremont County score of interest that took place yesterday. Wind River knocked off Rocky Mountain 46-14. Wind River will be the number 1 seed in the 1A 9-man playoffs. And just a little heads up, there's more football for you tomorrow to check out with Fremont County interest on the County 10 YouTube channel, as Scott and I and Jason Peterson, our trusty camera operator, will make our way up to the high country to DuBois to check out the final game of the regular season, the final game probably at DuBois High School for the Rams season, as they take on a very tough Burlington Huskies team. That'll be an all-ranked matchup there, and bearing a really big playoff upset. It'll be the final time that longtime DuBois head coach David Tremblay will coach at home. So we'll have that broadcast for you on County 10's YouTube channel starting just a bit before 1:30. It's a 1:30 kickoff tomorrow from DuBois.
See the Wolverines coming back on the field with About 30 seconds left, and on the far sideline, you see Worland making their way up a middle school locker room as well. Probably add a couple of minutes for warm-up time for both teams. Did notice, Jared, the Wolverines took all of the time they could in the locker room before the game started, missing the national anthem, actually, and then both teams taking just about all the time they can at halftime. So interesting to see if Worland has anything up their sleeve when it comes to this first offensive possession. And then I think pretty important to really try to put this Warriors team away, get your defensive 3 and outs, and get back down the field for Riverton. But as we talked about, there's a couple of things to iron out for the Riverton Wolverines offense from that first half.
We are going to have a little bit of an extended halftime feature here with a couple of award winners being recognized now that we'll try to show you on our YouTube feed. The Brett Watson Award has been a tradition for the last few years, and the John Hirsch Award, 2 very instrumental personalities in the football community here in Riverton. Of course, it's Brett Watson Field across the way for RJFL play, and every year they get to recognize a couple of Wolverine seniors in their honor, and you hear the applause from the crowd as this year's John Hirsch Award winner goes to Riverton senior Ty Sheets, and the Brett Watson Award will be given out to Talon Tillman. You see the 2 young men there, very deservingly so, holding up their awards, the Watson family and the Hirsch family down there. And I didn't know John Hirsch personally very well. I've heard a lot of great stories about how instrumental he was in starting RJFL football and just being a great community ambassador. Was thrilled to have known Brett Watson for a long time, miss hearing him in the stadium on broadcasts and just being involved in the community. Brett was a tremendous ambassador to have anywhere, and to be able to have him in Riverton was a great thing. So congratulations to Talon Tillman and Ty Sheets, the award winners there, and we'll start up the second half here momentarily with Riverton on top 14-0. Thanks again to the Wyoming Department of Transportation providing our Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show. Again, if you're tuned in on radio, Riverton in their all-black uniforms again, trimmed in cardinal red, got the R-Paw logo on the helmets. The Worland Warriors in their away white uniforms, trimmed in black and orange. They've got the W and the Warrior Spear on their helmets.
Up on Pine Bluffs, 30-20.
Wolverines will kick as Worland won the opening coin toss and deferred to the second half.
Right 12.
Warriors have plenty of work to do offensively themselves. Riverton's defense, barring a couple of plays, has been just about as good as you can ask for. I think just 1 Worland first down in that first half. You can't do it a whole lot better than that.
Hunter Saltzgaver has it teed up and ready to go here to start the third quarter for Riverton. Schlegel and Cheatham back deep to receive for Worland. End over end kick, going to be a little bit shorter, fielded right at the 10-yard line. This is Cheatham with the football, running across the field, finds a seam up the left side, and he is free across the 50. Nobody's going to catch him. The 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Warriors. That is exactly what you needed if you're Worland to start the second half like that. Cale Cheatham, a 90-yard return for a touchdown.
I drew that comparison in the pregame show in the first half to that Lander game, and this is very reminiscent of that. Tigers able to take a kickoff return for a touchdown, kind of keeping them in the game, and we see here from Worland the exact same thing. Look at that speed on the far sideline. Yeah, your offense isn't doing anything for Worland. So what better way to stay in the game than your special teams taking one to the house. And now some confusion on the Riverton PAT defense try with 2 black jerseys coming on very late.
Luckily, the officials still switching a football out there, so they'll get an extra few minutes. Fisher Martinez is the long snapper. Clayton Baugh, the holder. And Ryan Dennis, the junior kicker, will boot it away. Looks good. It is true, and it is 14-7. Worland on the scoreboard. with a quick strike returning the kickoff, the opening kickoff of the second half.
Early third quarter, sort of momentum-changing plays have occurred against the Wolverines this season. Not in every game, but often enough where we've seen this team tested that way. And they are impressive in terms of how they can get right back on the horse and kind of move on like it never even happened. But if you're going to stay in the game at all, I mean, that's the way Worland was going to win this game, is hang around. Hang around, get a turnover later in the third quarter or the fourth quarter, move the ball just a little bit, flip the field, and you got to be careful. Time is starting to run out. The number of mistakes that you're going to be able to make and be where you want to in this game as you enter the fourth quarter, it goes by pretty quick.
See how Riverton settles back in after
back to receive for the Wolverines.
The 90-yard return from Cale Cheatham.
On the kick for the Warriors.
Speedy guy over there.
Sun has gone down, and we are under the lights here at Wolverine Field.
Just a junior, too, Cale is.
The majority of this Worland team is very young. As I was looking at the stats and main contributors of the team this season, there's really only one senior that is doing a lot productively as far as numbers on this team. So Worland could be a dangerous team next year. Sheets will take it on a bounce inside of his own 10, is tripped up, I think, right before he got back to the 20-yard line. Credit to Wyatt Dickinson there with a nice tackle soaring down the field, and time may have gotten right to the 20.
Oh, that great kick cover by Worland. Very important to get a couple of first downs here. At the very minimum, even if you're not going to get points, don't allow the Warriors to flip the field by going 3 and out or just getting one first down. Also, pretty important, I think, to get DeVries just settled back in. Not seeing the field really well in that first half. A couple of short timing passes, I think, just to get him back in the game.
Derek out of the gun. Will pitch it to Ty Sheets. Sheets will shake off one tackler. Flag flies in, and Ty got some great yardage, a gain of about 9. I almost wondered about a face mask when I saw Ty receive the football, but not sure about this penalty.
Gain of 8 on the play. There is a flag on the play.
Was a Wolverine lineman down. It looks like he got back up without much trouble.
It's very rare when I get one right, but they are going to call face mask.
So that's a helpful, obviously, penalty for the Wolverines to get some yardage tacked on to the end of the play.
And Coach Sweeney is livid on the other sideline. His hat came off for a second. He's given one official an earful. Riverton will take the first down. DeVries out of the shotgun, 2 receivers to either side. Now Tillman comes in motion, sets up in the backfield. DeVries going to run behind him, gives him a big block, and DeVries has a first down. Flag flies in again very late. So for the moment, Derek has a gain of 11.
Derek here on the Gambles replay. Nice job just staying patient and then accelerating when he needs to. Keeps those feet going. He's got really quick feet for a taller quarterback out of the backfield. This one's coming back, though.
Going to be a hold on the Wolverines, so that'll negate a really nice Derek DeVries run.
Didn't see the hold, but again, mistakes and penalties are what you have to avoid. These teams that you know you're more experienced than, you have a feeling as you're out there that you should be up by a lot more than you are, but they sometimes have a way of sticking around and becoming a problem as those mistakes get magnified later in the game.
Holding call backs it up to a 1st and 12 from Riverton's own 33-yard line. Derek out of the shotgun. Trips now set up to the left side. He'll air it out to McIntosh. Kind of a bubble screen look, but McIntosh is stuck right away. I don't think he gained a yard. He'll go backwards a yard on the reception, in fact.
It's a great play by the near side corner here on the Gambles replay. You'll see him go, just read it perfectly, go straight downhill. You see the motion. Player unable to get an effective block on there, and that is about as well as you can defend that play. We have an encroachment, maybe an offside on the right side of the screen, if I saw that correctly. Number 77 there, the right end, will cost Worland 5.
6th penalty of the game on the Warriors.
The Warriors brings up 2nd and 10.
2nd down and 10 now for Riverton. 10:30 to play, 3rd quarter. It's Riverton 14. Worland is 7 after Worland returned the kickoff, the opening kickoff of the second half, 90 yards for a touchdown. DeVries trips to the right side. He's just going to run with it up the middle, and Derek has 4 on the ground.
It's going to bring up a 3rd down.
DeVries, the ball carrier.
Important to get at least a couple of yards here to give Coach Lenhart the option if he wants to look at 4th down. I like a quick timing right there on the far side.
Riverton going quickly to the line. Now they're going to look at the coach and reevaluate the play. Empty backfield for DeVries. 3 receivers to the right side, 2 to the left. Derek going to run with it again off the right side. He's got some room, and he'll have a 1st down near midfield.
DeVries, the ball carrier.
DeVries to the 49.
His gain will be enough.
Picks up 10.
Wolverine.
On the Gambles replay, watch number 10 here. Worland's number 10, right in front of you at the bottom of the screen. His job is going to be outside contain, and he immediately goes inside. Loses the outside edge. DeVries sees that, gets outside, and relatively easy 1st down.
Derek will bring him to the line right at midfield. Much tighter formation this time for Riverton. It's Gattenbein behind him. They'll misdirection, give it to Ty Sheets, 2nd guy through, who picks up 4.
I like the way that play started with Sheets getting downhill right away.
Sheets, the ball carrier.
Explosive runner, and if he finds just a seam or gets 1 block, then that could have been a lot more than that. Well defended there, brings up a 2nd down and 6.
14-7 on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard. 8:48 to play, 3rd quarter action.
Please.
2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. That's Ty Sheets out there by himself. DeVries, fake it to Gattenbein, going to run with it off the right side now. Bowling over defenders. He's got a 1st down and more. DeVries not afraid of the contact, and he'll pick up a gain of about 10 again.
Another Wolverine.
Starts in the backfield here on the Gambles replay. Perfect timing in the backfield on the play fake. Perfect footwork by DeVries. Nice fake, and then does the rest himself as a quarterback. He's unafraid of taking those hits down the field, especially as he gets to the 2nd level, encountering some smaller defenders usually there. And Derek was running with a purpose on that play. Wolverines, despite a couple of setbacks, penalty here and there, moving the ball on the ground pretty efficiently in this 1st drive of the 2nd half for them.
Football now at the Worland 34 or 35-yard line. Derek out of the gun again, wants to run. Use some blockers in front, and another nice pickup, this time on 1st down. Derek will power forward for 8.
I think I saw Talon Tolman coming from the backfield there. And watch him lead this play, giving DeVries an extra block. Yes, nice inside seal block there to get DeVries some room to his left side on the outside, and take that run every single time.
Say 2nd down and 3, so give Derek 7 on 1st down. He'll go under center at this time. Sheets and McIntosh out to the left side. They'll hand it to Gattenbein. Blake's got a 1st down.
Ball came out.
And I think they're going to say he was either down or got right back on it. The official points to the ground as...
Well, he was not down. Wolverines may have gotten back on it. But you'll see... You get a good enough angle here on the Gambles replay. Look at the mesh between DeVries and Gattenbein, and the ball is not seated. You can see it kind of sticking out under Gattenbein's left elbow as he's moving down the field, and he got contacted at the 2nd level. I guess pretty clearly the ball coming out before he was down, if I saw it in live action correctly. Either way, another potential turnover averted for the Wolverines.
4 receivers out to the right side. DeVries going to run behind him out to his right. Derek has a gain of 9.5, maybe 10. The officials right there at the 1st down marker, and another nice play by Derek. We didn't see Derek run nearly as much in the 1st half, and they've certainly changed the game plan to have Derek run with the football more here in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's what's working most effectively, so you may as well stick with it. Don't like to see your senior quarterback running that much. But then again, if you asked him that question, especially on senior night, he's going to say, I'll take the ball every single time. So they're able to do enough up front there with pulling and some double teams where they want to go, and Derek is pretty good once he gets a step or two.
Derek's got two receivers to the right side. Gettenbein behind him in the backfield. They'll give it to Blake. Blake powers over a defender. He's down inside the 5-yard line to the 4.
Much nicer, cleaner mesh between Gettenbein and DeVries there. And Gettenbein had some good blocking right up the middle. He also, as we mentioned, as he's carried the ball throughout the season, unafraid to hit that hole. Just hits that hole really quickly and gets downhill pretty quickly. I think this injury situation that kind of put Blake in the backfield more often than not is only going to help him as an all-around utility guy for the Wolverines next season, and he'll still only be a junior next year.
First down and goal from the 4-yard line. Talon Tillman comes in motion, and officials will stop this one to say a Riverton timeout before the play can start. Give us a quick chance to thank some of the folks who make this broadcast possible, like Bailey Tire and Auto Service, proud to support our local athletes. Their full-service tire and auto shops located at 755 South Federal in Riverton, 1305 West Main in Lander. Thanks to Bailey's. Thanks to Myers Gambles on Main Street in Lander. They're excited to cheer on Fremont County athletes. Gambles has winning deals. And remember, deliveries free 30 miles from the store's radius. That includes Riverton. Turnaround, shop in town at Gambles. And our thanks to Perfect Power Electric, supporting our athletes on and off the field. Give Perfect Power a call for your electric needs today.
The Wolverines can punch things in here and get 7 on the scoreboard after giving up a long 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown on Worland's first touch of the ball here in the second half. Can answer that, get the margin back to 14 here on 1st and goal.
Tillman comes in motion. DeVries wants to run with it. Is corralled nicely by a Warrior defender after picking up about a yard. That was Clayton Baugh who came in quickly there defensively.
Just got the scoreboard updated properly. I'm doing well for a couple of games, Jared, but the score is 14-7 with 5:40 and counting in the third quarter.
Not to give you a hard time, but Ben Kranz weighing in on YouTube is demanding that we fix that. So
I don't blame you.
Hopefully Ben's having a better evening now. DeVries out of the shotgun. Tillman again comes in motion. DeVries wants to run behind Tillman. He is in on the right side. Touchdown, Wolverines. 5:19 to play in the third quarter. And a great drive there from Riverton, perhaps their best of the night. 80 yards. Started at the 11:41 mark, so they took a long time off, and it's capped off by another Derek DeVries rushing touchdown.
Well, I think they definitely did it in the way that Coach Lenhart would like, and that is get what you can on the ground first and search out those 5, 6, 7-yard run plays. There's a penalty flag or 2 on the ground before that kick on the point after.
Flag on the point after attempt.
This may not be insignificant, Jared. We have a very reliable kicker, but with the score now at 13 points, a little bit of a different dynamic if this game goes a certain way. Hopefully it's not an issue here on the PAT.
Hunter Saltzgaver now from 25 yards.
No problem.
Looks good. It is good. Not only was it longer, he had to kick it amongst the smoke from the cannon that drifted through the uprights too, but Saltzgaver makes it true. And Riverton 21, Worland 7 with 5:19 to play in the third quarter on that Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard.
I really like the answer there and the time-sustaining drive, as you mentioned, Jared. And the Wolverines doing it the right way, if you were to ask Coach Lenhart, and that's on the ground. Derek DeVries, probably his best drive of the half running, or of the game running the football. Not sure he's in rhythm throwing the ball yet. Saw a couple of misreads in the first half, but don't throw if you don't have to, on the other hand, and the Wolverines didn't have to on that drive. Take the 14-point, 2-touchdown margin back.
I want to thank everybody that's been commenting on our video streams. It's really cool to see you all. Big shout out to Tony, who's watching in Phoenix, says go Big Red. Mackenzie weighing in, saying go Big Red. Jenna's watching in Utah this evening, says go Wolverines. Shout out to my mom who's watching the game from Hay Springs, Nebraska. She says go Wolverines.
Nebraska. They're always traveling.
They are. Nelson says go Big Red from Houston, Texas. I think Nelson's been checking in with us throughout the year in Houston, and lost the name of the person, but I did see a comment earlier that we're on in Florence, Alabama tonight. So shout out to Florence, Alabama. We're all across the country. It's a short kick that is fielded by an upman. Almost looked like an onside kick. I guess that was the design there. A long onside kick was the attempt for Hunter Saltzgaver, but fielded really nicely by Daniel Galarraza.
This darn near worked. Sometimes if you spot one of those upmen who you think might have a problem with a pop fly like this, you try it, and if he doesn't catch that perfectly cleanly, that may well have been a turnover.
So now Worland starts with some more generous field position at their own 44 with 5:19 to play in the third quarter. Gunner will pitch it to Cheatham, and Cheatham is met by a whole bunch of Wolverines. Talon Tillman is in there, and I'll pick out a couple other names too that I saw entering the play. Daniel Clausen, a sophomore, in there making the big hit.
Next man up defensively. That's been the story of the second half of the year for the Wolverines. The look here on the Gambles replay, you get kind of a straight down the line, so you're going to get a good vantage point of Riverton winning the point of attack. Just see the black jerseys a yard, then 2 yards into the backfield to blow up that play. That's just good, basic, nothing fancy, good defensive line play.
Mascaro has 3 in the backfield, 1 receiver to either side. Will roll out to his right side, wants Dennis, and it's incomplete, tipped away by Nick McIntosh on the coverage.
Good coverage by Nick there. Was over the top of the receiver, but had a good view of the throw in the backfield. Timed the jump really well, didn't interfere with the wide receiver, made a play on the ball, and almost was in position to be able to make a really great interception there, but 3rd and 12 is almost just as good. The Worland Warriors are having trouble with these situations so far in this game.
Mascaro out of the shotgun again on 3rd and 12. Will take the snap, rolling to his left, tried to find Para, who does haul it in, makes a nice job catching it, but Para's hit right away. Flag is down in the Worland backfield, though. Derek DeVries laid a big hit.
It's going to be a hold on Worland that I imagine will be declined. It was. I really like this play design. It doesn't work out for Worland, but you're going to see those 2 far side receivers clear things out and try to just take the top off the defense. The tight end is going to be who leaks out there, and this is a designed small rollout and then kind of a jump pass. And it was just perfectly read on the far side of the field. But that's one that I wouldn't mind seeing the Wolverines steal down the road.
Denise on the punt.
Ryan Dennis is back to punt. McIntosh and Sheets back deep to receive for the Wolverines. It'll land right between them and will drift to about the 16-yard line. I don't think they intended for that one to not be caught, but they both kind of looked at each other and let it roll. So Riverton will start over at their own 16-yard line with 3:59 to play third quarter.
I think smart of the 2 receivers there to let that go. Neither was in position to make a play, so Worland's helped out a little bit by the roll, but it wasn't too bad. 5-7 yards after the end of the play. And Riverton's going to have I think the way you have to look at this is you have an opportunity to basically run out the entire quarter if you do this drive right and start the fourth quarter up 3 touchdowns. Just take your time, make Worland prove that they can stop that DeVries run scheme.
Derek's under center. 2 in the backfield, 2 receivers split out to the left side. And now Sheets comes in motion. They'll pitch it to Gattenbein. Gattenbein's got a hole to work with off the left side. May have been Saltzgaver. Hunter Saltzgaver was the ball carrier there.
A lot of guys having some experience in the backfield that they probably wouldn't have had injuries earlier in the year, not worked out the way that they did. But I think long-term that just benefits this team. The more guys that can do the more things offensively, the more creative you can get and the more ways you can attack a defense.
2nd down and 5 coming up for Riverton. Saltzgaver in the backfield. We got Homan coming in motion. DeVries fake the handoff, turn around, and run with it. He's got a 1st down and more. DeVries is all the way out across the 35 down to the 37-yard line. Another Riverton 1st down.
Hang on to the ball there at the end of the play, Derek, but I do want to show you just great offensive line play. Outsized most games, not the biggest offensive line, but look at those guys just ride their blocks all the way down the field. They're not giving up until they hear a whistle. Engage their defenders 10, 12 yards down the field. Gives Derek DeVries more options to run, more places to look for lanes. 1st down for Riverton.
Riverton settling in a bit more here this quarter offensively, feeling a little bit better about themselves. DeVries under center. 2 in the backfield. Land it to another ball carrier there. I'll check the pile. That is Gattenbein again, who pushes forward for about 5 on 1st down. Blake has carried the football 6 times for 25 yards.
This is what you're looking for on this drive. I'd try to make it a goal to get 2 minutes into the 4th quarter before you find the end zone here if you can. 2 minutes exactly and counting in the 3rd. Riverton taking their time, and as long as the run game is moving the sticks, no reason not to stick with it.
DeVries will operate out of the gun. Low snap, handled nicely. He'll pitch it. Kind of a broken play there ultimately that is going to go backwards. Riverton, I don't know if that was broken or just not well executed. He pitched it to Chai Sheets, who lost about 4, maybe 5 on the play.
It was just a good play on the left end, left side of the Worland defense. He's going to blow up the play in the backfield. And Derek should not have tried to hand that ball off. If he keeps that, I know it's not the play design, but if he keeps it, you get back to the line of scrimmage, you risk a fumble, you risk a momentum shift in the game. But fortunately for the Wolverines, it did not end up so badly.
3rd down and 10 now for Riverton. DeVries has 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. But before we get a snap, Coach Lenhart's going to call a timeout.
Timeout, Riverton.
So we get the chance to say thank you again to some more folks who make this possible, like State Farm agent Tyler Watson, proud to support Wolverine athletics. At State Farm, they're ready to protect your future. And at the end of the game, we'll select our player of the game, made possible by Tyler Watson. Sutherland's, they've got what you need for every project. Stop by Sutherland's on North Federal in Riverton. Sutherland's wishes all Fremont County athletes the best of luck. And thanks to Wyoming 4x4, wishing all Fremont County athletes the best. Wyoming 4x4 located north of Riverton, your one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from lifts to bumpers and bedliners. Give Wyoming 4x4 a call. A couple more social media shout-outs, too. This might be a first. Lorraine says hello. She says Lorraine, Zane, and Sierra are watching the stream while they're here at the game.
How about that?
That's our closest shout-out ever. And then Kelsey just weighed in and said hello from Pittsburgh. Says go number 68 from Pittsburgh. So we get the long-distance Pennsylvania shout-out, and Kelsey rooting on Daniel Clausen.
I hadn't thought about it, but if you bring your phone to the game, it's almost like you have your own personal replay with just a slight delay. You can watch the game in live action and then look at your phone.
3rd and 10 out of the timeout. DeVries wants Sheets. He's got him. 1st down across the 35 into Worland territory, and a late flag. I think they're going to tack a few more on with a late hit.
It was a great job on just kind of a back shoulder / slightly underthrown ball. Great job by Sheets to stop his route, get up, and make a strong play. He had his man beat. And I'm not sure Derek didn't want to throw that a little bit further in front of Sheets, but he ended up making the play as a receiver anyway, and whatever this flag is did look to be after the fact.
It is a pickup of 24 before the flag, and they're going to assess some more on. I saw the official point towards Worland, but I didn't see.
Well, it's 15, so it's got to be a personal foul of some kind. Targeting is the call, according to the public address announcer. Just a mental breakdown after a huge game like that. Worland did not need to give up the extra 15.
Inside of 50 seconds to play third quarter, it's Riverton 21, Worland 7. DeVries will go under center. He's got two in the backfield, two receivers out to the right side. Fake it to Gattenbein. DeVries now bootleg out to the right side. Looking back across the field as a man in the end zone. Is it caught? It is. Touchdown, Riverton. That's Ty Sheets. Ty Sheets going to his knees to catch it. Derek had just enough on it for the Wolverine touchdown.
Yeah, when I say something like Derek DeVries is the best quarterback in the 3A East, this is kind of what I'm referring to. This is a difficult throw, moving to his right. Didn't have a whole lot on it with that movement, but he squared his shoulder up just enough. And the read over the top of the defense from his angle, kind of tough for us to tell, but from his angle, that looks a lot more shallow to him at field level, looking toward the defense. And he just knew where his read was going to be, knew that he could get enough on it, and that was a beautifully executed throw and catch for the Wolverines to tack on 7 more here just before the end of the third quarter.
Riverton will complete an 84-yard drive that goes for just over 3.5 minutes. And DeVries to Ty Sheets from about 13 yards out for the extra 6 points there. Hunter Saltzgaber's extra point is good again. And Riverton now out in front a little bit more comfortably at 28-7 with 32 seconds to play in the third quarter.
Yeah, there's still time to give it away, but that is a big, big touchdown. That allows you to make maybe a mistake or two in the fourth quarter and not have it bite you as a loss. And as we look at scores from around 3A, other things are kind of evening out and mellowing out and kind of the way that we were anticipating. So heading into the fourth quarter, things look really good for the Wolverines to get that 1 seed in the playoff game at home, which would happen with a victory here tonight, basically, barring some upsets elsewhere. But Wolverines do have 1 more quarter to close things out here on senior night.
Halftime score, Buffalo on top of Rollins, 28-10. Third quarter score, Douglas out in front of Lander, 35-7. And in the first quarter, it's Cody leading Powell early, 7-3.
Now, those first 2 scores are what we're looking for as Wolverine fans, and that Cody Powell score, that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on in the second half.
Saltzgaber's squib kick that takes a big bounce at the 30-yard line, fielded by number 79. You don't see a number 79 returning a kick very often, but he did a good job corralling it in and moving the ball forward to about the 39-yard line. As I frantically grab my roster, that's Coulter Garcia, a freshman.
And no one wearing the number 79 wants to be involved in returning a kick, I can tell you that. Nice job to make a clean catch of it, though, and advance the ball just a little bit.
26 seconds remaining in the quarter. Warrior football, as the fans have been great all night. Haven't needed to be quite as boisterous as they were last week in a Buffalo upset win, but they've attended this game really well. 4 receivers to the right side as Gunner's just going to run with it. He's tripped up by a Wolverine defender. That's Riemann making the play again for not much, no gain.
Yeah, Riemann makes 2 plays here. You're gonna see 3. He gets off his block, he gets into the backfield, and he redirects the quarterback, the ball carrier, and then somehow is able to dive and get enough shoe to bring down the ball carrier. So that's getting off your block. That's forcing a change of direction in the backfield, and that's finding a way to make the play.
That'll take us to the end of the third quarter. It's Riverton 28, Worland 7. Come on back for the final 12 minutes with us. You're watching the Wolverines on County 10's YouTube channel and listening on 105.1 Jack FM.
At Eyes on Fremont, we know that good vision is about more than just seeing clearly. That's why we're dedicated to providing expert eye care for the whole family. From children's exams to contacts, LASIK to glaucoma treatment, we're here to help. We accept most insurance plans, and our experienced team will make sure you feel right at home. Schedule an appointment today at 111 South Broadway in Riverton, or give us a call at 307-856-9000. Visit WyomingEyes.net to learn more.
See Allison at lunch today? I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna text Allison. Hey, hold up, Matt's calling me. Hey, we got the food and we're on our way right now. Hey, who's coming, bro?
Worland football to start the fourth quarter here from Wolverine Field. Jared Anderson, Scott Fuller with you on the broadcast. Jason Peterson running the camera high atop the crowd at Riverton High School. Mascaro out of the shotgun to start the fourth quarter. Will slip one tackle, almost went for negative, but he turns it into a gain of 10 and is right near a first down. One of the best plays offensively we've seen from Worland as Gunnar Mascaro carried it for a positive there, and he is stopped just short. Nope, now they're going to say first down as they wave the chains on.
To whatever extent they can, Worland's going to have to hurry up a little bit here. It's a 3-touchdown deficit they're facing. They need to squeeze a couple extra plays in when possible and get a couple more runs just like that one to stay in this game.
Mascaro in the gun as Cheatham to the right. Two receivers to the right, two to the left. Mascaro going to run with it, looking to throw, has an open Para, and it's hauled in. Another nice play as Mascaro to Para again for a first down. Pickup of about 17.
Yeah, it was. That was a really nice throw on the run. You see here in the Gambles replay that the ball was put right in between the coverage, the only place in that zone in front of the safety where it could be. Safety trying to make a play on the ball late there, but that was just a nice throw by an underclassman quarterback, and all of a sudden the Warriors are marching down the field.
Worland trying to hurry to the line a little bit more. Trips out to the left side. Two receivers to the right for Mascaro. The sophomore quarterback going to run with it this time. And the Wolverine left side of their defensive line not going to let him get very far. Maybe two on the Mascaro carry.
You don't mind that from a Wolverine perspective. Short gain, you give up 1 or 2 yards in exchange for 30, 40 seconds every single time. Leading by 3 scores in the fourth quarter.
Senior Ryan Watson in there.
And Worland is taking quite a bit, getting the play in from the sideline and just now getting into the huddle. So that will be a nice trade-off of 35 seconds or so for a 2-yard gain.
Warriors out over the football again. Mascaro empty set. Nope, he's got Cheatham with him on the right side. Didn't see him for a second. Now whistles before we start. Back judge throws a flag. In my experience, that's delay a game, and it is for a second time.
Commented on how long it took that play call to get in from the sideline. Easy for fans to pick on that. As a play caller, I can tell you sometimes it's more complicated with the packages or what you want to call them against the defensive personnel that are out there, but obviously not what the Warriors are looking for right now, to take that much time off and be penalized 5 yards for it.
Warriors have been tagged with 8 penalties in this game tonight. Mascaro with Cheatham in the backfield, 3 receivers to the left side. Wants to throw. He'll air it out to Cheatham. Cheatham has some yardage after the catch. Flag comes in. Cheatham does get past the first down marker all the way out to about the 21-yard line, but let's check the yellow marker.
Almost looked like there was a Worland offensive lineman downfield, but this flag came in too late for that to be the call. More than likely.
Sort this out. If it stands, it's a big gain for Worland, and it is going to go against Riverton.
Boy.
Targeting call against
So we saw targeting on the last drive committed by Worland, and now a targeting committed by a Riverton defender. And gives, obviously, the Warriors great field position deep in the red zone.
6th penalty for Riverton. Pitch to Cheatham. He'll try the left side, trying to stretch things out. He's smothered by a couple of Wolverine defenders, including who else but Talon Tillman. Derek DeVries out there too.
I really don't like this pitch technique, but it does get out quick enough for Worland, and this is a great play where you can see how fast the Wolverines have gotten side to side. Those linebackers pursuing at great angles to where the ball carrier is about to be, and contain on both sides defensively has been great. I mean, Riverton's defense really one of their better showings against a limited Worland offense, granted, but you like to see this from the Wolverine defense.
Worland's been productive, but they certainly are taking their time here as Mascaro in the shotgun, Cheatham in the backfield. They've got 4 receivers out to the right side. Wants to run, almost a tackle for a loss, but Mascaro will slip out of a Caden Liebrecht would-be tackle and pick up 3 on the carry.
Yeah, Caden was coming downhill on a mission here on the Gamble's replay, and this is a really athletic play by an underclassman quarterback. Sometimes it's funny how your athleticism comes out of you when you're being chased by somebody downhill like that who's about to give you a nice shot. So that was a nice play to turn a big loss potentially for Worland into at least a positive game.
2-by-2 this set. Cheatham in the backfield. Mascaro rolling to his right. Wanted to pass it to the end zone. Was short of his intended target. Incomplete. And it's going to bring up a 4th down and 8 from the 9-yard line now.
See the end of that play again. Not sure if something broke down here, but what you end up with is 2 receivers in the same part of the end zone, and generally want to avoid that to keep the defenders separated from one another, but not a bad idea on the rollout. Brings up a very, very important 4th down for the Wolverine defense.
7:47 to play in the 4th quarter. Again, Worland can pick up a 1st down just outside of the 1-yard line. And before we snap the ball, we've got a timeout asked for by head coach Patrick Sweeney. So Worland trying to put something together to feel good about themselves this drive. There's not a lot of urgency, but it has been productive. And Warriors still enough time within striking distance here. Certainly they came into this one trying to avoid a road trip back to Star Valley, which if they lose, they'll be headed to Afton. If they win, they could find a way to get to the 3 seed. But if you're a Warrior fan watching this broadcast, you got to be rooting for your guys to score here real quick.
It becomes very difficult if you don't convert this 4th down or find the end zone on this play. If you can get it back to within 14, still enough time on the 4th quarter clock to have at least 2-3 possessions offensively. And you never know what happens with mistakes, turnovers, strange bounces of a strange-shaped ball. But if you're down 3 touchdowns, I think that might be the margin the Wolverines need.
Mascaro goes under center. He's got 3 in the backfield. He wants to throw, though. Mascaro looks to the end zone. It's incomplete. Well defended all the way around by Riverton. And a turnover on downs will send it the other direction.
We're going to try that same concept with just one receiver on that far side. He is in single coverage. And the throw just wasn't on time. And a great break on the ball by the defender there in the far sideline. And that's going to turn the ball over on downs with 7:44 left to go in the game. And a 3-touchdown Riverton Wolverine advantage.
DeVries will run back into the huddle here on senior night at Wolverine Field. Of course, we're hoping the seniors and the entire Wolverine team gets to play on this field again next weekend, but still an emotional night to recognize all of the efforts from this year's senior class. Handoff goes for and it'll be 2nd down and 10 for Riverton.
Gattenbein, the ball carrier.
And everybody hang on to the ball with 2 hands when you're this deep in your own territory. Yes, you stopped the Warriors on 4th down, but if you give the ball right back in the same place on 1st or 2nd down, that doesn't help you a whole lot. So 1st down or 2 to get yourself out of the shadow of your own goalpost and avoid any silly mistakes. Hang on to that ball.
DeVries breaks the huddle, goes under center again. He's got Gattenbein in the backfield. And it to his running back, who, again, doesn't have very much going there. I think we're going to see a 3rd and 9 straight ahead.
It's all right, though, because you wanted to see on that play 2 hands on the football. Does limit a lot of running backs feel it limits their cutback ability, and they don't feel as mobile with two hands on the ball like that. But the most important thing now is to not turn the ball over this deep and milk that clock for whatever you can. A 1st down here would be great. Big, nice, long 4-minute plus drive. If you're able to string a couple together, would just about ice the game.
6:25 to play, 3rd and 8 from the Wolverines' own 11. Straight ahead. DeVries under center will pitch it to Saltzgaver. Saltzgaver uses a block. He's got a nice hole for a 1st down. Hunter Saltzgaver on the 1st down carry was 3rd and 8. He picked up about 13.
We'll see great assignment football here on the right side. We're going to see good blocking. You're going to see responsible running back play in the situation. 2 hands on the football the whole time, and cutting to those lanes as they became available to him down the field was enough for a 1st down by a couple of yards there, and that's going to allow you to milk the clock even further at 5:55 and counting.
Derek will line up under center again. 2 receivers and 2 in the backfield. Handed off to Blake Gattenbein, who's undercut, but leans forward for a gain of 3 and will be out to the 30-yard line.
Gattenbein gains 3 on the carry. Tackled by Bow.
A great night at Wolverine Field. Just perfect temperature when you think about October football, and hopefully bearing anything very strange in the next 5:20, we can tell you about another game here at Wolverine Field next weekend soon. Derek under center, hands to Saltzgaver, and Hunter will get about 2 yards off the right side.
Hunter Saltzgaver gains
5-minute mark and counting.
Tackled by Powell again.
Gained enough on that play to give me confidence that you can do it again. Something similar. You might force yourself into a punt, but take as much time as you can off the clock and avoid any throwing at all. Any play fakes or anything here I think isn't worth it. Just see if you can't find the lane. Good enough for 5 more yards for a 1st down.
Hunter Saltzgaver having a nice night. He's taken quite a few more carries than he's used to. 8 carries, 29 yards. At the last 1st down, DeVries stands in the shotgun. Sends Ty Sheets in motion. Now DeVries is going to pitch it to Sheets. Ball goes straight up in the air. Everybody holding their breath for a second, but it falls incomplete. So you don't get any yardage there, and the clock stops.
Clock does stop. That is a forward pass, so this wouldn't have been a fumble regardless. I actually like the play design. That's maybe not in that situation necessarily, but that's one to keep in mind for down the road. I like that you might be able to find a seam. Almost kind of a double option there. One option to DeVries' outside and one to the inside. Interesting play.
Cheatham and Schlegel back deep to receive the punt from Gage Treber. It's Cheatham that hauls in the fair catch at his own 36-yard line. So with 4:11 to play, Worland will send their offense back out.
If you play just base defense and keep everything in front of you, it's going to be really difficult for this offense to get back in this game. It's 4 minutes and 11 seconds. It is 3 touchdowns that Worland needs. So the only thing to avoid is shortening the field or shortening situations where you're turning the ball over or you're giving up silly big plays. Worland needs a strike here, and I'd say in the next 90 seconds tops to stay in this game at all.
Warrior offense back out there. Gunnar Mascaro in the shotgun. 3 receivers out to the right side. He'll pitch it to Cheatham in the backfield. Cheatham is gang tackled by a host of Wolverines. Ryan Cox and Jackson Larson's in there. Talon Tillman's in there. I want to give a shout out to everybody on defense at this point, as it's been a good collective effort defensively by this Riverton team.
They've been great, and they've seen such great offenses and such talented opponents throughout the season, especially as we talked about earlier in the broadcast, when you have to play Cody and Star Valley and Powell like back-to-back-to-back first 3 weeks of the season. That's as good as it gets. And then, if, as Coach said to you, Jared, if you can stay healthy, the game slows down for you later in the year quite a bit.
2x2 the set, 1 in motion as Mascaro wants to run with it. Ryan Cox is in his way, though, and then after Ryan slows him down, Caden Liebricht crashes in. Nick McIntosh is in there, and let me get one more Wolverine shout-out in there as I saw Tristan Moss, another senior, getting some more playing time, crashing in.
Yeah, defense has been great. Special teams minus a 90-yard kickoff return to open the second half. Special teams has been good. Offense a little bit shaky at some points in the first half, but we're able to spread the margin to this point. Defense needs to step up one more time here.
3rd down and 11 from their own 30-yard line now as Mascaro rolling to his right, plants his feet and wants to throw. It was in the possession of Will Schlegel for a moment. Would have had enough for a first down, but a nice job defensively by a Wolverine Wolverine defensive back, and it falls incomplete.
This is actually a great throw on the run by the underclassman quarterback. Put the ball exactly where it had to be. The receiver just couldn't hang on, and the Wolverines were right there. Nice coverage on that play. So this is going to be basically your game. Just 2:32 left, and 4th and 11 coming up. Although Worland's going to show punt.
Speaking of the D-backs, by the way, which I went Arizona D-backs, they're tied with the Phillies right now, 2-2. At baseball in the brain momentarily. Dennis is going to kick this one sky high, takes a bounce at midfield, and will be smartly downed as it took a generous Wolverine bounce. Not a lot of net there on the punt. Riverton will take over with 2:24 to play.
Yeah, I think punting in that situation is basically a tip of the cap to the opposition and saying, well done, you got us tonight. There's a chance if you go for it there that some craziness can happen, but I think that's a responsible play call by Worland. Kind of a classy thing to do, I think, in that situation. And now Riverton can run it out. I think we have 2:11 left when the game clock comes back up, somewhere in there. Wolverine starting to feel it.
I think we're seeing some classiness certainly there, but also this quarter it feels like both of these teams are going, okay, we don't want to get anybody hurt before the playoffs. We want to be able to refocus. Both of these teams will qualify for the playoffs. Worland's got to go on the road. Should this score hold up, they will go to Afton and take on the Star Valley Braves, it appears, next week. And should the score hold up, Riverton will host the Evanston Red Devils next week as we look at the other game that we're keeping an eye on. Buffalo's up big on Rollins 35-10 in the 3rd quarter. 4th quarter scored Douglas in front of Lander 42-7. 2nd quarter it's Powell 9, Cody 7. Star Valley leads Jackson 41-7 in the 2nd half. Blake Gattenbein in at quarterback for Riverton here with just a couple of minutes remaining. We'll hand the football off, and I think that's a new running back. Nope, that's Hunter Saltzgaver again, who picks up a yard.
Along the lines of what you just mentioned, staying healthy, I would imagine DeVries is done for the night. You want him for Evanston next week, in all likelihood. That's what's going to happen as we roll inside 2 minutes now. You'll get the sophomore back up a couple of reps here at the end of this game.
Gattenbein under center. Let the play clock run down as far as they can. Hand the football off to Ashton Eagle Road. First carry we've seen from Ashton, a sophomore.
First carry all season, I believe.
Back to the line of scrimmage.
This is special for those young guys if you're able to get in, and the game is a little bit out of hand. But first time you play in a varsity game, first time you get a carry like that is something you hang on to for a while.
3rd and 10 for Riverton. Believe that's Eagle Road again in the backfield. Gettenbein under center. We'll hand it to Ashton, who was met right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe go backwards a yard. We're inside of a minute to play.
Back to the line.
So it'll be 4th down, and the Wolverines won't be able to bring it all the way down to a conclusion here. There's going to be about 10, 12 seconds left in game clock and play clock differential.
Conference champion.
So I think you're going to have to snap the ball here one more time, but you just saw a cool moment here, Jared, where it was announced on the PA that the Riverton Wolverines have won the 3A East, and you see the response from the home crowd.
As the number 1 seed.
Pretty amazing, especially when you think back to what this team looked like last year with 20 seconds to play. Riverton's going to go under center and pitch it backwards to Eagle Road, who will be shoved out of bounds. So clock will stop with 11 seconds, and they'll just turn it over on downs to the Worland Warriors. Big shout out again to the 13 seniors on this Riverton team. Actually, I think I decided there are 14. Derek DeVries, Ty Sheets, Branson Saltzgaver, Nick McIntosh, Talon Tillman, Craven Garcia, Damian Duran, Zarek Prosser, Tristan Anderson, Xavier Garcia, Tristan Moss, Ryan Watson, Lyric Gordon, and Nathan Mills. Great contributions all the way around to Riverton football and the community of Riverton as a whole. And, of course, it's senior night, but all of those young men will be back here a week from today for 3A playoff action.
Nice that those guys got to play in front of a home crowd here on senior night in a game that really was never in doubt. There were a couple of moments where Worland made things interesting, but Riverton had the field tilted in their direction the entire way, and the final score is going to more accurately reflect, I think, where Riverton is at the end of the season here.
2 receivers to either side. Mascaro in the shotgun with 11 seconds remaining. Will fade to throw near midfield. Air one out. Hail Mary style pass is complete, I think. Will Slagle hauls it in. The longest play of the season for Worland was 34 yards, and that's...
Not sure it was complete or not, but that's the end of the game.
I guess they call it incomplete.
They're going to put 3.6 back on the clock. Time expired as the ball was in the air.
I thought they ruled that he had it, obviously, as they kept going with the call there, but they will say incomplete, and now one more chance at something.
The ball was halfway to the receiver when the clock went to zeros, but they're going to give one more snap here.
And we may see a kneel down as that looks like the formation from Worland this time. Mascaro takes the snap one last time, will kneel down, and the Riverton Wolverines have won the 3A East. They will be the East's number 1 seed and have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Riverton will host the Evanston Red Devils next week right here at Wolverine Field.
A lot of credit to go around the seniors here who play their last regular season game tonight. Coaching staff, the fans, the parents. Sometimes being in a football family is challenging during these fall months with the start back of school. And even though it seems short for us watching up here, that's a long season for these kids. But I can't imagine a better outcome. We said before the broadcast, no matter what happens here tonight, this is a success story in year number 1 for Coach Mark Lenhart, dealing with a team that he had and getting the most out of some talented seniors and underclassmen as well. And I distinctly remember, I'm not going to say any names, Jared, but I remember conversations with people before the season started, and we were talking about 2 conference wins, maybe, and this is going to be number 4 for Riverton, and 1, the 3A East as the 1 seed, home field advantage for these Riverton Wolverines. I mean, every Wolverine fan watching all over the country, wherever you happen to be tonight, it's a moment to kind of pause and say, wow, this is cool. Hopefully this is the start of something good to come for the next few years.
absolutely spectacular and fun to be part of a re-energized, reinvigorated program. It starts with the head coach, Mark Lenhart, but Scott, you mentioned all the way down to all of the assistants, the training staff, the student athletes that may not get the playing time on the field that show up every single day in practice. The trainers, everybody who makes this work.
Moms and dads coming to pick up their kid at 8:30, 8:45 on a school night here at practice. And
exactly.
Yeah, those underclassmen who don't get snaps this season, they work just as hard as anybody else throughout the week. So I think bodes very well, no matter what happens next week here, and potentially, dare we hope, moving forward in the postseason. But we're going to have a lot to hash out here. I think yourself and Wyatt Berechka have a pretty interesting playoff week episode of the podcast coming up, and there's going to be a lot of speculation about the Evanston team that we saw in a game that even earlier in the season we thought the Riverton Wolverines certainly could have won. It came down to the very final play of the game and the final minute of the game in Evanston, and I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to play Coach Lenhart having played him earlier in the season and put most of your stuff on film. I think the Wolverines will show up ready for what should be a really fun atmosphere right here next Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to turn the page too quick. You want to celebrate and enjoy this a little bit, but I have kind of secretly been hoping that we get that Evanston rematch, just because I want to see how this Riverton team competes against Evanston. You felt like there were some missed opportunities there at EHS. I did watch Evanston play Green River last night. They look like they've improved, and they were good when Riverton saw them a few weeks into the season. So it should be a great matchup. If you're in the neighborhood next weekend, I'd recommend coming by Wolverine Field. We will let you know as soon as we know when that game time is. Usually, historically, the quarterfinal games are on Friday nights, but we'll confirm that and get you all the details as soon as we know it, probably later this weekend at county10.com. Coming up, the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show. We will run down the final numbers in this one. We're also going to check out that 3A scoreboard for you and let you know what's going on there. Hopefully get some finals on the broadcast, and we will chat with the victorious head coach, Mark Lenhart, here in a bit. Final score tonight, Riverton on top. They're 3A East champions. Riverton knocks off Worland at 28-7. You've been listening to the Wolverines on 105.1 Jack FM and watching on county10.com.
Wyoming Catholic College is a unique institution that offers an immersion in the Western tradition, the beauty and challenges of the wilderness, and the treasures of the Catholic spiritual heritage. Our mission is to provide a unique educational experience that nurtures the body, mind, and spirit. We are proud of our alumni success stories and the learning opportunities we offer through our academic outreach programs. Come and explore our campus in Lander, Wyoming.
This is Maven, award-winning optics for the adventurous. From binoculars to spotting scope, Maven has you covered. Be prepared for scouting, wildlife watching, or any outdoor adventure. As a proud sponsor of local high school sports, we wish all the Fremont County athletes the best of luck this season. Visit mavenbuild.com for more information and to order. Maven, discover something new.
Perfect Power is a proud supporter of athletics and student athletes all across Fremont County. Perfect Power provides services for residential, commercial, and industrial jobs. Darren Hubble, owner and master electrician, has over 30 years of electrical experience. Darren's trustworthy team of professionals can get the job done right. Perfect Power, serving Fremont County and surrounding areas. Stop into 1320 West Main Street, Lander, or give them a call at 307-332-7184.
Tires, and more tires. Bailey Tire and Auto Service offers a huge selection, great prices, and fantastic service.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, this is Haley. With over 13,000 tires to choose, Bailey has tires for your ATV, farm implement, car, truck, trailer, semi, lawnmower, wheelbarrow, you name it. If it has a tire, Bailey Tire and Auto Service can fix it or replace it. Bailey Tire and Auto Service is your one-stop complete tire and service shop. Just remember, with Bailey's, there's no tricks, just tires.
To win in sports, you have to adapt your strategy as the game changes. The same is true with investments. Hi, I'm John Shade, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I can be your financial coach. Give me a call at 335-7722 today. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Find more Fremont County sports coverage on the County 10 Sports Podcast.
This is the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show. Thanks to Bailey Tire and Auto Service, they've got 3 great pit stop locations in Riverton, 1 in Lander. They've, of course, got the delicious Speedway Cafe right here in Riverton. And they are your tire experts. Always good to have good tires on hand when you're traveling the Wyoming winters. Riverton out in front of Worland here as they knock them off 28-7. And you've got the 3A East champions, the number 1 seed headed into the playoffs in the Riverton Wolverines. We will chat with the head coach, Mark Lenhart, here in just a little bit and run down some final scoring numbers. But, man, you said it there just before the break, Scott. I hope Wolverine fans, as you're driving home in your car tonight, get an opportunity to reflect on this a little bit and just how far that this team has come. And to win the 3A East is quite the feat for sure. We will hand a microphone to the victorious head coach. Mark Lenhart joins us. Coach, thanks so much for coming up. Really appreciate it. 3A East Conference champions. You get the number 1 seed. Overall picture from when the season started, you got to feel pretty darn good about that.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I didn't see that coming. I was hoping that we could find a way to, scratch out some wins, be competitive, and we were able to do that. But big win last week kind of set the table for tonight, and even though we didn't play our best, it was good enough. And I think you got to give a lot of credit to Worland. I think people maybe overlook them a little bit, but if you look at their scores, they've played pretty good defense all year, and they play hard and fly the ball. And so we, it wasn't our best performance, but give a lot of credit to their coaches. They gave us some different looks and did some good things. And, we got to go in the second half on the ground, though, and that was important.
Coach, now that you know where you're at, heading into next week, hosting a playoff game in all likelihood, what stays the same next week with your practice prep and your game prep, and what might you do differently, if anything?
I think you don't change much of anything. I think, if anything, we maybe made a mistake this week of kind of backing off a little bit in some drills and some things, and I don't feel like we played as physical tonight offensively as we did, but just kind of an odd game. We ran it and chewed up a lot of clock, scored, but the big play again. We're finding ways to make plays in different aspects of the game, and tonight Ty Sheets with the punt block made a hell of a play there and set up our first touchdown. Derek made a great read. There were some really, really good things, but hopefully we come out and play the whole game like we played the second half tonight.
Did Worland throw anything defensively at you that you hadn't seen? Looked a little sluggish there offensively?
Yeah, no, they did some
half.
Different stuff. They mixed their coverages every down, and they did a nice job of kind of changing things up, and it was just some stuff that maybe we probably had a little too much in, and we're asking our Derek to do a little too much early on, but they did some good stuff, and I just didn't think we probably committed to the run enough in the first half and then ran it very well when we did. And then I had a couple penalties on some screens that took away, I think we were 2nd and 1 once and maybe a first down the other. And so when you do that, you play behind the sticks. Those are drive killers. And so we've got to make sure that we clean some of that up.
It looks like, by all indications, we're waiting for everything to be official before I try to announce too much, but it looks like Evanston will be the opponent here in another week. We keep looking back at that road trip and going, man, if there were just a couple other things that happened in that game, really looking forward to potentially the rematch of seeing Evanston come here in a week.
Yeah, playoff games typically tighten up a little bit. You kind of show your hand a little bit of what's going on. And, the nice part was tonight offensively, we were able to get some other guys involved other than just Derek running the football. Some different guys got it. And so hopefully we can just continue to get better and work at that. But Evanston's going to cause some serious problems. I mean, they blitz and slant and move a lot defensively. And then on offense, they got 3 or 4 really, really good skill kids, a couple good receivers, a good back, and their quarterback can run and throw. So we're going to have our hands full. We're well aware of that. They're a good team. They beat us the first time, but we're looking forward to getting another chance at them.
I told you this in the pregame interview, too, and I'll reemphasize it. It's more of an observation than a question, but it just feels like the culture has completely done a 180 throughout the year, and it feels like it started with you, and it boils down to your assistants and the trainers and all of the kids on the field. Does everybody in your locker room get that feeling that, at least compared to where we were last year, that this is a totally different Riverton football team?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to say from what it was because I wasn't here, but I just can go by what I've seen since I've gotten here. And I think that, at the beginning of the season, we were a team that didn't really even want to tackle. And then we started tackling, and now we've started hitting. And, we gave up a kick return for a touchdown. We got to get that cleaned up. We gave that up, but the truth of the matter is we played pretty good defense again tonight, and gave ourselves a chance. And I know they were down their quarterback, and we kind of knew that they were going to have to rely on running the football, and so it allowed us to stack the box. But our guys made plays and did a good job.
All right, Coach, we'll look forward to it again next week, but appreciate you coming up as always. Congratulations, 3A East champions.
Thanks so much. Yep, that sounds nice. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Mark Lenhart, the head coach of the Riverton Wolverines. Always appreciate him.
Thanks,
coming
Coach.
up to chat with us on the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show. And my favorite thing, and Coach Lenhart's not alone with this, but when you chat with a coach in a victorious moment, he still goes, yeah, but we got to clean that up on the kick return. There's 1 or 2 things that went wrong there, so we'll focus on that.
Quite a bit to clean up, and what was odd, I think we both saw this in the first half especially, it was stuff that they haven't been doing all year. The executables on punt snaps, kind of a center quarterback exchange there at one moment from Derek. He wasn't seeing the coverage really well, as Coach indicated there in the first half. And they've been a pretty tight, fundamentally sound offensive team. So that was a little bit strange, but much rather see that this week than next week. So hopefully they can hit practice next week and clean some of that up. But I also like, from a coach, the kind of candor of having just won 4 conference games and winning the conference and the division, saying, I didn't know that was going to happen. I don't think anybody did. I think that was a shock to everybody, and I think it bodes well for the future, regardless of what happens next week. You can't really argue against what the team and the school and everybody involved in the program has done this year compared to what the expectations were. So Coach may not be able to comment on how things were here last year, but we all know what the records had been. So a lot of happy Wolverine fans driving home and looking forward to a postseason home playoff game next Friday.
Yeah, I hope everybody comes out and we get a really raucous crowd to celebrate the fact that Riverton is in the postseason, and certainly does change the momentum at times of games to have a nice crowd behind this team. So some reaction coming in on County 10's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Daryl said, after playing the hardest schedule in 3A over the first 4 games, these kids could have folded, but the coaching staff made sure they didn't. What an incredible improvement over the course of the season. I definitely agree with that. It was a tough schedule there to start the season, but some really fun moments in the second half.
When I thought it was, Jared, just to expand on that, Douglas. I thought that Douglas game was going to be, all right, we're going to find out, what this team's kind of made of within their capabilities for the remainder of the season. And because that, for whatever reason, that loss to me was tougher than Evanston and any other loss they'd sustained. And they came right back, obviously, with Buffalo and a win here tonight. So I think that's a testament to everybody involved. But that was a moment later on in the year where you're like, this could go one way or the other. Unfortunately for the Wolverines, they cleaned up the rest.
Joni says, way to go, Wolverines. Todd says, congratulations, Riverton. Mike says, great job, boys. Linda says, congratulations to DeVries and company. Great win. Just all around pouring of support on our social medias, which we thank you for, and thank you for tuning in. Why don't we take one more short time out here on the Bailey Tire and Auto postgame show. When we come back, I'll bring you a few final numbers in this one. We'll check that 3A scoreboard one more time I'm hoping to see some final scores pop up before I can report those to you. And then we'll also select our Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game in this one. Final score again was Riverton 28, Worland 7. We're back after this short time out on the Bailey Tire and Auto Postgame show on the County 10 Sports Network.
Wyoming Catholic College is a unique institution that offers an immersion in the Western tradition, the beauty and challenges of the wilderness, and the treasures of the Catholic spiritual heritage. Our mission is to provide a unique educational experience that nurtures the body, mind, and spirit. We are proud of our alumni success stories and the learning opportunities we offer through our academic outreach programs. Come and explore our campus in Lander, Wyoming.
This is Maven, award-winning optics for the adventurous. From binoculars to spotting scopes, Maven has you covered. Be prepared for scouting, wildlife watching, or any outdoor adventure. As a proud sponsor of local high school sports, we wish all the Fremont County athletes the best of luck this season. Visit mavenbuild.com for more information and to order. Maven, discover something new.
Back here at Wolverine Field, the Bailey Tire and Auto postgame show rolling on 28-7. Wolverines victorious in this one. Let's take a look here at a few final numbers. Warriors were led by their sophomore quarterback Gunnar Mascaro, who started there in the second series of the game. His first effort this season at quarterback, 5 of 14 passing the football for 52 yards. Did find Roman Parra twice for 22 yards, his leading receiver. Cale Cheatham carried the football 9 times for 9 yards. Mascaro ran the football 10 times for 19 yards. Warriors ultimately finished with 3 first downs unofficially here, and of course their only score came off of that Cale Cheatham 90-yard kick return to start the third quarter. For Riverton offensively, 262 yards of total offense. Derek DeVries was 6 of 14 passing for 65 yards, 1 touchdown throw to Nick McIntosh. Did throw 1 interception. DeVries ran the ball 13 times for 93 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Ty Sheets ran the football 5 times for 47 yards. Blake Gattenbein ran the football 8 times for 28 yards. And Hunter Saltzgaver was nice tonight, 9 carries for 30 yards. We did see Ashton Eagle Road come in and carry the ball 3 times there at the end of the game. Ultimately went backwards on the final play and finishes -1. Ty Sheets, leading receiver, 4 catches for 37 yards. Nick McIntosh had 3 grabs tonight. Blake Gattenbein had 1. Jackson Larson also had 1. So not quite the offensive outpouring of numbers we're used to from this Riverton team, but a really well-done defensive effort. And credit Worland defensively, too. Certainly there were some Riverton mistakes, but I thought, like Coach Lenhart said, Worland did throw some things defensively at him that they hadn't seen this year.
Yeah, switching up coverage, as Coach said, every snap, and there was some of that cover, too, that looked pretty simple from up here, but when you're not expecting it, it can be tricky to go through your progression, and definitely had Derek DeVries thinking about things in the first half. Also think when it comes to those passing numbers, I think the Wolverines ran a whole lot more than they typically do, especially in the second half, just because they were able to move the ball down the field. So the stat line doesn't represent, you're used to Nick just showing up at the game and getting 200 receiving yards, and it just wasn't that kind of night here tonight, but we still have those offensive weapons for next week. Hosting Evanston.
Want to back up and correct one thing that I forgot to add on the Derek DeVries stat column. He had 2 passing touchdowns. I only gave him credit for 1 earlier. In the first quarter, he found Nick McIntosh from 6 yards out. And then, of course, in the third quarter, he finds Ty Sheets from 13 yards out. So 2 passing touchdowns for Derek and 2 rushing touchdowns. All right, let's look and see 3A scores of interest here. It doesn't look like much much is in doubt as far as the games that could affect us. Fourth quarter score, Star Valley on top of Jackson 41-7. Just starting the fourth quarter between Buffalo and Rollins, the Bison hold a 35-10 advantage there. Douglas is rolling Lander right now 42-7, and not necessarily for playoff seeding, but as far as a matchup, the most interesting 3A game of the night. Number 3 Cody is leading number 2 Powell 15-9. That game, last report at least, was late second quarter, just before halftime there. So that might be a fun one to tune into if you're looking for a random 3A game to catch. And while we're at it, we'll let you know that we've got Fremont County football coming up on County 10's YouTube channel and Facebook page tomorrow, as Scott, Jason, and I are up in the DuBois High Country with the DuBois Rams taking on the Burlington Huskies. Senior day at DuBois High School, a 1:30 kickoff there. That's number 3 versus number 4 in 6-man football. So looking forward to getting to
that. Should be a great matchup, and also the first chance I'll have to see 6-man in a long time. So looking forward to that at 1:30 on the stream tomorrow. It's a stream-only game. And we should mention, when it comes to what looks 99% like a home playoff game against Evanston here next week, we can't provide streaming video of that due to state regulations. So we will have a video stream, but it will not be a video stream of the game itself, and you will be able to hear the call online and on air next Friday night as well. But if you want to see these Wolverines, bring a radio on out to the stadium here next Friday night and pack the house, but just not allowed to bring actual streaming video coverage of the game next Friday.
Yeah, glad to be able to bring you the audio broadcast. Sad that we don't get the video, but like Scott said, if you're a Wolverine supporter and in the neighborhood next weekend, come on out and cheer them on in person. If you can't make it, we will have a video for you. Just can't show the video actually happening, but we'll have a scoreboard, and you can listen to us on County 10's social medias, or of course you can listen on 105.1 Jack FM, which means we got to find Jason Peterson a new job, our camera operator. He's got to be part of the broadcast somehow. So
I want to say thank you to Jason for all season long, because he provides the images that you're able to see and follow along with at home. So thanks to Jason. It is a thankless job, to say the least, for a bunch of different reasons, but we love that Jason loves being here with us, and we do appreciate you helping us out all year.
Last order of business on the post-game show is to select our Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game, and Scott and I deliberated between breaks. We threw out 3 or 4 names that I think are very deserving. You mentioned Blake Gattenbein had a great game tonight, especially defensively. I thought Ty Sheets had a great game defensively, but they had a couple of big runs, had the touchdown catch there. Obviously, saw some throws we're not used to seeing from Derek as far as misfires in the first half, but I thought Derek rallied and had a great second half.
Running the ball especially.
Yeah, definitely. And just playmakers all over the field, especially defensively tonight for the Wolverines. But our State Farm Tyler Watson Player of the Game here in Week 8's Worland win is going to go to senior Talon Tillman. Talon has been a huge member of this Riverton team, especially, well, really on both sides of the ball. I wanted to give him credit on defense, but now kind of that lead blocking back position he's so valuable at on offense. We saw him lead the way there a couple of times for Derek and for Blake running the ball, but Talon's just a beast defensively all over the field, and it's kind of a cumulative effort because he's been so good all season, and we haven't gotten to recognize him.
Yeah, I think it was the first game against Powell that Coach afterwards said, we're going to have to bring guys up and help in run support. And ever since that game, Riverton's played basically an exclusive single high man just to help out up front. And Talon's been that single high man. And that job is basically stand in the middle of the field. Everything from side to side is your responsibility in the secondary. And with very few exceptions, a couple of mistakes, especially early on in the season. But he was able to get you can't stay in that defense unless your lone safety back there really has it pretty locked down, and he enabled the Wolverines to bring up the rest of the defense and run support all season long. And again, very few mistakes and just a great pursuit, great coverage all over the field. And so in this game as well, but I think a cumulative season-long effort, definitely deserving of a Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game from Talon all by himself back there in the defense.
Yep, definitely. All right, with that, we're going to say good night and have a great rest of your weekend. Again, as soon as we know all the specifics on playoff football, we're going to post those for you at county10.com. That post will be coming up later this weekend, not only for Riverton, but also for the Wind River Cougars and the DuBois Rams representing Fremont County in the playoffs. But when game times are set and we 100% confirm all of the details, we will post them for you, county10.com. All right, Jason Peterson, our trusty camera operator, doing a great job all year long. The birthday boy, Scott Fuller, happy birthday once again.
Thank you. Hey, we got a Riverton Wolverines win, so I'll take that for my birthday.
I'm glad you get to spend your birthday with me, just like you wished for.
It's just working out that way. That's the way it is. The stuff our wives must say to each other.
Yeah, exactly. For Jason Peterson and Scott Fuller, I'm Jared Anderson. Thank you for tuning in, and we're going to catch you again next week here along the County 10 Sports Network for playoff football. We'll turn you back to 105.1 Jack FM, and for those of you on the stream on County 10 social medias, we say good night. Once again, the final score, Riverton 28, Worland 7. Riverton is 3A East champions.